Street talk time, here we are, and what a week of Coronation Street we've got to chat about today. Of course, we have got to do the clickbait before we get there, because that's what people really tune into these for, isn't it? It's to see what those journalists have been trying to get away with typing on the headlines of their articles. Gemma, had there been some good ones this week? You're going to be testing them out on me?
Yes. There's 5.
Okay.
Do you want all of them? Because you just told me you didn't want all of them.
No, I'll have them all if, depends what sort of kind of variety we got in there.
From the Liverpool Echo, Coronation Street fans work out Maggie's secret child, and they're already on the cobbles.
Oh, that doesn't take too long for that, did it? Maggie's secret child. Well, I don't flipping know. Carl Webster?
No.
That sounded like I could have been close with that one.
People have said that this person looks like Ben.
Seth MacFarlane.
Yes.
No, it's not. We did mention that last night, though. Somebody looks like Ben.
Yes, I do not agree at all.
Is it Tyrone? Has he got another mum?
I think whoever, the person who said this, I'm not picking on you because I can't remember who you are. I think they might be off the mark.
Go on then. Who have we got?
Here.
Who is it?
Do you want to guess at all?
No. I've guessed one. That's me done. Carla is Maggie's secret child, is she?
Yeah, she's already been someone else's secret child, so the likelihood of her being another person's secret child seems fairly low.
This is a soap, Gemma. You never know, do you?
But I think
so. Johnny and Maggie got together, did they? I think she does have a history with Ireland.
I was going to say, she's like, this explains the Irish thing I have.
It does, yeah. Okay, next, what we got?
Coronation Street, Eva's new husband, Ben, set for affair. And it's with someone on the cobbles. So we've got the greatest hits here. Secret affair, secret child.
It doesn't take long for these headlines to come out of the woodworks, does it? Who is Ben going to be having an affair with? Abby?
No.
Just because he's got mixed up in that lot a little bit.
I'll give him this. At least it's somebody that he has spoken to.
Oh, who has he spoken to this week? Oh, my mind has just gone completely blank. I'm terrible at this. Glenda.
No.
Oh, that would be quite good.
Glenda's too sexy for him. He wouldn't be able to handle it.
She's too much for a woman.
Mind you, Eva's pretty sexy.
Oh. It's Arleanne, isn't it? I bet. No,
it's not.
I thought it would just be... Was it or Artoya?
No.
Okay, who have we got? Who is it?
Robert Ross. No, it is Dee Dee.
Dee Dee.
He spoke to her.
He spoke to Dee Dee, yeah. Oh, God. No way Dee Dee would not do that. She would not lower herself.
Sometimes Coronation Street...
doing it with her boyfriend's dad.
And also, us as fans, go, oh, they spoke and they're going to have an affair. Like incels or something. Like.
But sometimes that is all it takes,
man
isn't
spoke.
It? Don't you remember when Peter and Tina had that conversation together spark off something?
That's why I said I blame Coronation Street as well.
Yeah.
Because they go, right, we need to set this affair up, but let's have them talk. Otherwise it won't make any sense.
That's why I make sure never to talk to any women, Gemma. Because I just don't want them to be throwing themselves at me.
Quite right. Coronation Street fans work out. Oh, wait, that was from OK magazine, sorry. The previous one. Coronation Street fans work out who will save Todd from Theo. This is from the Metro.
Sarah Louise.
No, that seems like the most obvious one, doesn't it?
Glenda.
No.
Christina.
No.
Who?
You're bored of this, right?
Yeah.
Danielle.
It's no fun when I'm not making you sweat. Danielle.
See, it's not fun, is it, to guess?
It's... well, we don't have to keep this segment up. I don't know.
No, I really like this. I like it. It's just... you feel like an idiot when you don't get it right. But these are like, how the hell? What do you mean Danielle is gonna?
Danielle's gonna come and.
No, she's not.
No,
a lot of people are like,
how don't see Danielle again.
I really would like to know how their relationship was, because I think a lot of people are speculating about whether he's only ever abusive to his
men.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could easily tie into his feelings of guilt. And, I'm doing something wrong, morally wrong here because of his upbringing and his conversion therapy.
I just don't know if that's a realistic thing.
You could write it.
I know, but I'm always worried to, straight into, I just think this is right because I have some kind of prejudice I haven't addressed,
I think there is an element of self-loathing going on with his same-sex relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Coronation Street fans rumble who's messaging Hope, and it's not Ruby from the Mirror.
Oh, I saw that headline when I was looking on the Mirror yesterday, but I didn't click on it, so I don't know. So it's not Ruby. It's not Jake, seemingly.
No.
I don't know who else there is, really. Sam?
God, Sam.
He's not been doing anything recently, has
bitch.
he? No?
No, it's not Sam.
Tyrone. Bit of tough parents in there.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Is it another child?
Yes.
I'm running out. What, a youngish child?
I tell you what, age? I can see this child doing this.
Is that Susie? Is that Susie Driscoll?
Oh.
She's a bit of a wrong, isn't she?
I tell you what, I wouldn't give that kid a phone. She'd be back to mischief.
I don't know who else could be messaging Hope at the moment.
I really think you're going to kick yourself when I say this person's name.
He's doing it to herself. Jack.
It's a recast.
If we Lily.
Yeah, Lily seems like she would, doesn't she?
She definitely does. Lily thinks that. Yeah,
seems a bit
but
nasty.
she's been very quiet recently. It would be a bit of a bummer if the reveal was somebody that we've just not seen on screen. But then I'm not particularly feeling that story as a whole at the moment.
Well, we know who it is, don't we? Is it not obviously Jake?
Well, but he swore it wasn't.
Oh, that's true.
Who knows?
Right. Last one.
I'm not hugely fussed about who it is. I think in the face of the other big storylines this week, that one in the Asher, I was just like, yeah, whatever. Not grabbing me quite so much.
I'm not going to keep doing disclaimers about being allowed to dislike a story about something serious.
No, don't then.
I know. Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm bored of it. Right. Coronation Street fans work out. Rovers return shake-up as newcomers arrive from the Express.
They work out the shake-up?
Yeah.
Well, what is there to work out? They've got new people in charge there.
I'll give you a clue because you're not going to...
No, that was a poorly worded clickbait express.
No, it isn't.
Go on.
It's intriguing. I think somebody's going to be leaving the Rovers.
Well, there are a few too many people on the staff now, aren't there? They're all talking about, am I going to keep my job? Is my position here? And Eva and Maggie were very quick to say, oh yeah, it's fine. But literally, how many people do you need to work in that pub? Because we've now got Eva, Ben, Maggie, Lauren, Gemma, who else?
Sean,
Glenda,
Gemma.
I don't think I said Gemma. That's 7 or 8 people working in this pub. Unnecessary. Does Ryan still work there? I don't think.
Yeah, I think he does.
I thought he'd moved straight to the hotel now. I don't know. I wonder whether it's going to be Gemma that leaves because she wasn't making quite a good show of herself at this team meeting on Wednesday's episode. Is it Gemma?
No, it's not.
Oh, but I did enjoy that little scene with her coming in late and dunking the biscuit. Kate Fitton's reaction when Gemma grabs her tears. Like, hang on a minute, that was a nice little subtle moment. Gemma was nothing but subtle, but yeah, that was quite fun. Of course. Who could be leaving, Gemma?
Lauren.
Sometimes why is that then?
Because everyone thinks she's miserable. She's not miserable. I think she's great, actually. I think sometimes I think she's a bit too goofy, but I thought this week she was great, and I like her being a bit like do you know who she's a little bit like? Betty. Because you know how Betty was totally over it, 90% of the time.
Bit of a grump.
She would have been like, "Here you go, love," and then, "Oh, can I have some cutlery?"
I think I'd rather. Yeah.
I'm not saying
it could be a place that's a bit transformative for her, and that's what the character needs.
I'm not saying she is like Betty, obviously. I'm just saying if you look back, Betty was a grouchy old cow, and I think that Lauren would be better off in that mould because we've got Ditzy with Gemma, haven't we?
Yeah.
And Sean a bit, bless him.
Well, the Sean and Glenda pairing, I would never want to split up because they are fantastic. Sorry, Keith Harris and Orville, as Maggie called them when she walked in, which is a great line. And that bit when they were doing the... what was it? Where Sean was talking about, they're not the kind of bottles that I'm interested in on Wednesday's episode, and then the pair of them do a little bit of that. Blah, blah, blah. It reminded me of Eddie and Patsy from Absolutely Fabulous. Those two, they're a really great pairing. But it feels like they do need to do something because they've got rid of Jenny and replaced her with 3 characters. Because even Lauren wasn't working there at the same time as Daisy, was she? They don't need that many people working there.
I don't know. I think...
But, I mean, it's good that, this is what we want. This is going to be what we need to talk about. The fact that Rovers has entered a new era. It's a bit of a, new fresh start for it this week. Is it going to be the centre hub of Coronation Street again, which is what everybody's wanted? It certainly was this week, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And to be the central hub of the show, maybe you need to have more people working there,
that's
more
what I was
actors that
thinking.
they can throw in.
Yep, that's literally what I was thinking.
So I'm not particularly fussed whether they keep them all, but in practical terms, especially if you're going to be giving vodka away for free, you got to be a bit careful.
Yeah, I'm really bummed out. I missed this.
What?
All the free booze.
Oh, would you have gone along with
Mind you, at the press day, there was plenty of free booze, and I did have a drink in the Rovers.
No, what was the horrible thing that they were given on the shots? Pickle juice. Or something?
Pickle juice.
Prune juice.
No, pickle juice.
Was it pickle juice?
Why have you got this spare pickle juice? You're gonna shrivel up your pickles if you're not careful. Do you think they're all left over from Glenda's pickle pots?
She did have a load of pickle jars, didn't she? Yeah. Well, that was a lot of fun. Right. So
I cannot imagine the gas that would build up inside your esophagus from pickles and beer.
Well,
I don't know if this is a common combination. It just sounds like you're going to end up with what's it called? Acid reflux.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few smells emanating from the George and Christina boudoir tonight.
Oh no.
Maybe she's like, George, I'm just going to sleep on the sofa tonight.
I thought they were.
Oh, they sleep. I don't even know whether they're.
I don't think they're sleeping in the same bed.
No, they've had one kiss, haven't they?
Yeah, very chaste.
Yeah, they are. You're right. Just like that, Becky and Lisa. There's nothing going on there.
No, nothing at all.
We are going to start off with chatting a load about the Rovers this episode. The best return. This works better written down, doesn't it? I've written best return Eva, but it looks a bit like Eva when you write it down.
Best return Eva.
I didn't want to call it like the Rover Returns because that would be so totally cheesy and naff. But any other answers on a postcard or suggestions, send them our way.
What was that thing you said that people the headlines that people use?
Corrie Blimey.
Yeah, Corrie Blimey, hate it. Spooky season, hate it. Also hate it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, which is going to start tomorrow.
You've just got... And how long is it going to take you to talk about the spooky or non-spooky costumes at Halloween? Because you have mentioned that last week. But
I literally was saving this up. Carla and Lisa, slap on the wrists for both of you. Cops and Robbers is not a Halloween costume, is it? You could have been a dead cop and robber, but that would have been triggering, obviously.
That would have been too much triggering.
But, yeah, no effort at all.
Right, so
Terrible.
we're going to start off with that storyline. We have then got the Carl storyline, Deb Mencher. I've written off Carl and Cars here because there's a bit of MOT stuff going on there. Swalloween is going to be our third storyline, and it was certainly frightening for some members of that little cohort there.
I want to know whether Amy Cudden can do a good evil cackle. I bet she can.
Oh, I bet she can. She's fantastic. But she's more subtle than that, isn't she?
Is she?
We had then got the Forlorn Hope story. There was a little bit of extra stuff with Cassie on Friday as well. And not quite enough Undertaker under the thumb this week. I think that could have elevated it even higher. But we did get the what happens next following last week's milk dousing incident. And there was also a little bit of the Asher Crashers storyline, just to bring things down a little bit. So,
wait, look, hang on. Why don't we just do that one first?
No, because it's got Maggie in it, and people are like, "Who's Maggie?" No, let's end on it.
Well,
it's fine.
no, because it's such a downer.
No,
and you don't like it.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, don't ever take any suggestions I ever give you.
Right, pub stuff, Gemma. I've done lots of talking so far, so I'm going to give you a chance. What's your thoughts about the Rovers' new team that we've had this week? Initial impressions having watched
So
them.
I don't get to read this, I just have to tell you what I think.
Well, you can read it if you like.
No, I wouldn't dare.
No.
I like all of them. I really love Maggie, and I think it was really clever to get... I've forgotten her name.
Pauline
Just literally
Macklin.
went out of my head. Yeah, Pauline Macklin. She is... We all love her already in this country. I think even if you haven't seen... Have you ever seen Father's Head? You have?
Only bits of it. I've not sat on, I'm watching all the episodes, but it's sometimes been on.
It's almost impossible to have not come across a clip, even if you haven't seen Father Ted, of her character. I've forgotten her name.
Mrs. Doyle.
Mrs. Doyle.
She's an iconic... I was going to say British. It's not British comedy at all, is it? Irish comedy character.
Yeah.
Mrs. Doyle. whose one thing, as far as I'm concerned, as somebody who doesn't really watch the programme, is that she likes to offer people cups of tea.
Yeah.
And then says, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go
She
on.
is great.
Being very,
So we all love her already.
And it was quite a surprise because I think for a lot of people, they don't know her from anything other than Father Ted. But looking at her IMDb page, she's been in a whole. She's even done EastEnders. She was a Cotton, Yvonne Cotton, I think she played on EastEnders just for a little bit. Let's hope that she stays on Coronation Street for longer. She's one of these characters that when you come in, immediately in the head you're thinking, God, I bet there's a timer tick on how long she's going to be in it because this feels too good to be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we felt the same way about Claire Sweeney as Cassie.
Yes, I think we did actually, and she's still going strong.
I really hope that she stays in for a long time, and also the same with Ben Driscoll, who's played by Aaron McCusker, and he's also a big name because he was in Shameless, and Shameless like super mega popular, and obviously the made in American version. I don't think he was in that though.
I think obviously Sally Carman was in Shameless as well. I think there's been a few other Shameless alumni.
I'm thinking. I think somebody else was supposed to was in it as well, but I think I'm going to sound stupid if I'm wrong.
These two are both absolutely cracking actors, aren't they? I mean, Aaron McCusker was in Bohemian Rhapsody. He played one of Freddie Mercury's boyfriends. I kind of want to watch it now to see. But I'm going to say that I've not seen Shameless, and I have seen Bohemian Rhapsody, but he was an actor who I'd not particularly.
I was right. Pauline McLean was in Shameless as well.
Oh, okay. He's an actor that I hadn't heard of when it was announced back in the summer that he's going to be the new landlord of the Rovers. I don't know who that is, but apparently everybody else knows. It's very good pedigree, and it's very clear from this first week of episodes that he's a totally 100% solid actor.
Oh, he's
and I think
incredibly...
that we're going to get some brilliant scenes. That's going to be really helpful to the Rovers. I'm not saying we didn't have it before because we had Sally Ann Matthews and Charlotte Jordan there, but it is really important that who's in charge of the Rovers is a 100% watertight, gold-plated actor, and we've got them for the three main characters here.
You can say that, but we had old Stella Price in there.
She was, I suppose
who came with a very good CV. I've forgotten her name.
Michelle Collins.
Thank you. She was, fantastic on EastEnders. She's gone back to EastEnders. Everyone still loves her, but she was fish out of water in Corrie. These two though have hit the ground running. Yeah, and it's clear
what an introduction.
They're very, very comfortable. I mean, you would hope all actors would immediately be able to pretend this is my mum or whatever. But obviously they've worked together before, and they've got this very good, easy.
Yeah. You come in when we were at the press day, because obviously we saw Monday's episode.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know that we went to the press day, but we did, and when they were going to stop talking about it.
Before we watched Monday's episode, Alison Sinclair, press lady there, said, right, once you've seen this episode, you'll get the Driscolls and you'll know what they're about and you'll get their relationship, and you totally do, because sometimes a character can come in and the first look you get at them is like, okay, I think I'll get a bit of a sense of what they're like, or I'm not really sure what they are, they're just saying a few lines, but they've been front and centre all week, and it was by the end of Monday's episode you totally get them. Even Maggie, who only appeared for the final minute of Monday's episode, but what a minute that was.
Oh, she's great.
Close your gobs, and I can't remember what. Let's party like your lives depend on it.
I'm sorry for all the fake Irish accents.
I really
absolutely
can't
adore Irish accents, and I know that they are very diverse, and we cannot do them properly. But it's so tempting because I just think they're so delicious and wonderful.
To be sure,
it's really nice to hear Irish accents on Corrie. We've already had a comment from somebody saying they can't understand what they're saying, which I assume is not anyone around these parts, probably maybe an American or somewhere, because I don't understand. They're very easy to understand.
Thick accent.
But I know, but
I think it's the Irish accent. When you do like polls of favourite accents in this country, that definitely comes out on top.
They're not in this polls of people in this country.
Yeah. And Scouse, like Cassie, often comes quite low down. I just like the unique accents that we have across these.
I love all of our accents.
But of course, the thing with these two is as well, and this is a bit of a Lancashire-Yorkshire problem for me. Apparently, some people are saying, well, Aaron, but Ben's character, he's got a Northern Irish accent, whereas Maggie's got a Republic of Ireland accent. I can't tell the difference. Sorry, and it's probably one of these things where it's like really
I haven't got the ear to discern the difference.
It's probably like super obvious to many people, but to me they sound like they've got the same accent. But
Sorry.
So that's the same for Yorkshire, Lancashire for me, and it kind of helps me to buy into the universe a bit more. But I suppose we don't know much history about these characters yet, and
for all we know, they went and spent some time somewhere else.
Yeah, it could very easily be that Maggie is from Ireland and he's from Northern Ireland. One of the things, Jim McDonald was Northern Ireland, wasn't he? And that's where you get the "so it is." And although he's not done that yet on the programme, when we were off air talking to Aaron McCusker on the press day, he did do a "so it is."
Yeah,
I was
did.
I better not point that out.
And they also used a phrasing. Was it Ben said "so" or at the end? Or no, it was Maggie.
More
turns of phrase that are specific to Ireland.
This is what
I want to hear.
This is what they need to do. I'm sure the Corrie writers are perfectly capable of this, but you can't just have certain accents saying the same script that you would give a standard, in inverted commas,
Northern character.
British or Northern character, because there are certain phrases. Like I said to you the other day, instead of saying "shall I do something," they'll say "will I do something." So I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of that going in there, and maybe because surely this will happen.
Makes me so happy.
The actors will say, "No, an Irish person wouldn't say that. We would say this."
Hope so.
But
they're both very, very confident. They've been doing this, their whole careers. So I think that they would know.
Yeah,
they could speak up for themselves.
Well, we had the biggest Irish presence that we've had on Coronation Street before, aside from Jim McDonald.
It's Ollie.
What?
Yeah, Ollie, the Driscoll.
And maybe not
with
Ollie.
His thick Irish accent.
Well, look, we can say all sorts of things about accents. I mean, Susie, hello. Have you been growing up in France or Hull? Because apparently you don't sound like either of those places. But the Kieran McCarthy was that he was a regular Irish presence for quite a long time. So Corrie has dabbled before, but this is the first time that the Rovers has had Irish people.
Now, hang on. See,
I mean, apart from Kieran works there, but these are Irish owners.
Is this unacceptable?
What is this?
For a northern soap to have non-northerners running the pub, because they made poor Michelle Collins. Is that her name?
Stella, yeah.
They made her do one of the worst northern accents that have ever been on the show. I'm sorry, even worse than I would do. They made her do that. She couldn't be a southerner.
Well, we did have Mike Baldwin in charge of the Rovers in that triumvirate at one point, didn't we?
So the hierarchy is like Southerners definitely bottom of the pack.
Yes, that's.
Can never do anything. You're not a Southerner, and then Northerners obviously top, but Irish just very barely below Northern.
So just a really interesting move, and it makes me kind of wonder when they were plotting this family to put them in the Rovers. Was it a case of we need them to be Irish, or did it just turn out that we've got some, these people that will audition for the parts of Ben and Maggie are Irish?
But just coincidentally, two people who are incredibly talented rocked up for the job. Hasn't Pauline said that she was offered it?
I can't remember whether she said that.
I don't know. I've been
dipping in and out of some of the press
and
interviews.
It came out of the blue.
Well, I read that
I think they went for Irish actors.
Okay. Well, Aaron has auditioned for Coronation Street 5 times in the past, and most of them were small roles, but apparently he auditioned for New Todd. So we could have had Aaron playing Gareth Pearce's role for the past however many years it's been.
Secret son, secret brother, and so secret dad.
I don't think that Todd would have turned Irish there, so it turns out that it looks like he can do a proper English accent as well.
So I wonder whether they had him in mind, and then they asked Pauline McLynn because they thought
Yeah, I think I've only kind of skim read some of the interviews, but he said that he auditioned for some smaller parts, but his agent said no, they've got bigger plans for you in the pipeline.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. They needed to get the big white whales into the Rovers, and I don't want to count my
Patrick
chickens.
Stewart busy.
I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, but Kate Brooks did say at the press day quite a lot that she wants this to be, you know, a big thing for the Rovers, a rejuvenation for the Rovers.
Rejuvenation Street.
Rovers back at the centre of the programme, a family in the Rovers. I've seen lots of people online saying, "Oh, it felt like a new era," and we were sort of bigging up how excited we were for this week's episode in the new family, you know, in our last couple of weeks of the podcast. And I saw some people online in between being a little bit cynical about, you know, is it really going to be that good? Oh yeah, well, Kate Brooks can talk the talk, but is she going to walk the walk? But actually, I've seen almost nothing but wall-to-wall praise this week on social media, on the forums, for this this new family there, because it does feel like a fresh start. But at the same time, they're not coming across to me as feeling like new or just dipping their toes in. You could have watched today's episode as a new viewer of Coronation Street and not had any clue that these guys have only just been in there for a few days. They've hit the ground running. They did mention it frequently,
apart
from mentioning it. But they've really hit the ground running.
What you're saying, yeah, definitely.
I think that the Maggie character, she was the one that as soon as her casting was announced, I think everyone was like, "Oh, what's she going to be like? And is she just going to be Mrs. Doyle Mark II?" Which she's not, because Mrs. Doyle was kind of batty, wasn't she?
Yes. I think also a very, and I don't think it's like she's not typecast as playing that character because she's done so many diverse roles.
She has, but I still think
everybody thinks of her as that character because she was so distinctive, and like, you know how we talk about on the show sometimes what the difference between a caricature and a character is, and some people are caricatures. She's not playing that at all, but she really is a very unique and distinctive personality in the show that's different from Mrs. Doyle, clearly. Yeah,
you mean she plays into it. She kind of knits tea cozies. I think she's got a side business doing that with a website. And in one of her interviews, she said it was a little bit of a an elephant in the room, and it was a few weeks into it where she offered one of the cast members a cup of tea and then said, go on, and then she's like, and everybody's watching me saying, oh, she's doing it. So clearly that's what people think.
We weren't going to bring it up.
And I think it's good that they've not made her Mrs. Doyle, but she's definitely got all of her marbles. She's definitely a character to watch out for. She's not all sweetness and light. She's the fact that they've made her the owner of the Rovers is very interesting. And I think that, there's going to be definitely some butting of heads between her and Eva. I just think, she's absolutely brilliant. And the kind of, she's a Battalax, isn't she? It feels like that's the role they're giving her, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm just looking up these tea cozies. They're called go-ons.
There we go. See, I told you.
Yes, she is clearly there to butt heads with everybody. And, but it's funny because she wants to make friends with like pretty much everyone except Eva, who she hates.
That line that she was saying this week about if Ben and Eva split up, she's like, oh, I'm sure you'd get over it. We'd help you through it.
Oh, she's great.
And she also, and I think this is really important for her character as well, had the scene with Asher. Because you kind of expect her to be a Battalaxy mother-in-law from hell sort of character, and sometimes that's all you get. But having her share those scenes in Victoria Gardens with Asher, I think was really important to show, no, she's more than that. But then equally, you get the side of her when she goes up to Ben at the end of Wednesday's episode saying, I'm surprised that Carl wasn't picking his teeth off the floor, because there's clearly a bit of a dark side to the family as well, which I think we can get onto a little bit later. So already very, very layered. A lot of fun as well, because sometimes these cantankerous mother-in-law characters, your Ivy Tilsleys, are just a stick in the mud. Yeah, Sylvia, no fun at all, and they're just acting disapproving. But she was having a brilliant laugh. The fact that she comes in and says, let's party like our lives depend on it, and she was giving away all these free vodkas, she's having the time of her life. So she doesn't fit neatly into that stereotypical mould, which makes me even more excited. I just want every scene to have her in, basically, at the moment. And when we were watching Monday's episode, we were kind of whispering to each other, is Maggie going to be in it today? Is she going to be in it? Because we almost got to the very end of the episode without her making her grand appearance. But yeah, she only needed a minute to make her mark on that episode. And then you got what are your kind of thoughts on Ben at the moment?
Well, it was interesting because we just did our top 5, didn't we? About top 5 on Patreon, patreon.com.
Such conversations.
About owners.
Yes.
Right, owners of the Rovers. So you've got an owner because you've got Maggie, you've got a landlady because you've got Eva, and then you've got a landlord, which has Aaron pointed out to us is very rare.
Well, he said when I was chatting with him that there'd only been 3 landlords. I didn't press further, but I would like to.
I don't think that's
know
wrong.
What his maths is there. I mean, was Jack Walker not a landlord? Was Jack Duckworth not a landlord?
No, well,
was Johnny Connor not a landlord?
You just mentioned 3.
Well, I think he said that he was the 3rd one.
Yeah, well, give me a... No, he said there was...
Was Fred Elliott and Dougie Ferguson
they were
not
owners.
a landlord?
They were owners.
I don't know. I think it's... You're right. You got your owner, you got your manager, you got your landlord, you got your licensee. But who cares? Yeah. But are you enjoying him? Clearly, the acting is not a problem here.
Again,
it's fantastic.
Just like Pauline McLint, he is very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately draws, you kind of like feel like you like him and you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a lot more complicated than I was really ready for.
Oh,
because,
in what way?
Well, in the first episode, he seems like a bit of oh, here we go. He's one of these I'm constantly on the back foot guy. Because
they're the screw up with the money.
He bought the Rovers and he didn't have enough money. And I thought he was going to be like a bit of a bumbler. But then he starts beating people up, well, threatening people. And then Maggie saying, hinting that he's got this very dark kind of reputation from wherever they've come from.
Well, Aaron said to us that Ben can have a bit of a temper.
Yes.
And I think I said to him then, is he going to be a wrong 'un? He was like, no, you can have a temper without being a wrong 'un. I don't know. And I think that's leaving the first week of the Driscolls on Coronation Street. That's my really only concern, is that this is going to be some kind of dark crime family from a gang. And I don't think I want that for Coronation Street. I would say that it's not Corrie, but, in the last few years, it's all been Corrie's been. There's been gangs coming out all over the place, but it feels a lot more suitable to EastEnders to have some kind of Irish mob boss in charge of the pub.
Be careful.
Because you got... You've just kind of... I feel like I've possibly heard the name Harvey for the last time on Coronation Street.
I'm so sick of hearing that goddamn name.
Touch wood. But I still don't know, because with all this stuff that's been going on with Becky and the Warner Brothers in prison, they were Harvey's lackeys, weren't they? And that's still not been solved yet about what Logan and Matty had, what they knew about Becky's death.
Don't hold your breath.
So that's all kind of dark, crimey stuff. And you got the other gang that Becky was supposedly involved with Curtis. And I'm not into that whatsoever.
I don't like boring crimes.
No.
And drugs are boring, I'm sorry.
And to have a new Rovers family, and in the second episode hint about some shady past, it just set alarm bells ringing just a little bit. Because I think that if they're going to do anything like that, then at least establish them as people that we should like, care for, root for. And I think most of this week did that. I don't think there'd been many people this week that watched those episodes and go, no, they're not right for the Rovers. They're not a good fit at all. What a disaster. Because, in my personal opinion, they, as I say, they hit the ground running and they were really brilliant. But I just got this horrible lingering feeling that there's going to be some horrible, dark, shady past, and that means, more police, more drugs, more gangsters, more, and that'd be a shame, because the landlord of the Rovers should be, I think, a warm, trustworthy, community-minded, that sort of character.
What I can't help but think is that even if they do go down this route with them, that it will be a big deal for about 6 months, and then we'll forget it ever happened.
I really, really hope so.
Because I really think that they're somehow going to be related to what happens in the crossover.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But I'm not sure at all, and I don't want to guess, because we're not really supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. and are all of them going to come out the other side? Like I said earlier on, that it wouldn't surprise me if Maggie's not
there next year.
Yeah.
I'd love her to be.
There's not been any clues or hints or anything that would suggest
we don't know anything.
But it's just, wouldn't that be our bad luck if she only was this brilliant for a year?
Yes.
And even Ben, if he's got a dodgy past, is he going to be a proper wronger? I mean, they could well just have brought this extended family in for Eva to eventually shed them so that she's there back in the Rovers on her own.
I think that
she's the main character. She's the one that's been in it before,
They were focusing quite a lot on telling us at the press day that it's the families back at the heart of the show.
They were.
This was important to me, so therefore I can't see why they would get rid of half of them. I mean, we've been speaking for about half an hour now about this, and we still haven't mentioned Eva properly.
No, we haven't, have we?
Who would have been the star of the big attraction for us before, because we didn't really know much about the other two actors. They have got great reputations, but really she's the prize, isn't she? Because Eva was such a fantastic character. We were really sad when she left. We wanted her to come back.
Yeah, well, it was springtime. Was it January, February sort of time maybe this year that we heard that Kath Tilsley was back on Coronation Street, and so it's been a long wait, but it was definitely worth it. I loved seeing her back again. She totally feels like the same old Eva. She's done so many noises this week. Yeah, there's been that and then all sorts. I'm glad that they've not.
I wanted more of it in today's episode, but I think she got it all out on Monday.
Oh well. She's a really strong character. She's a lot of fun. She's definitely classic Corrie. She was let's be fair, the only good thing that came out of that Price
I like
inclusion in the Rovers. Gloria was all right, I suppose.
But you never forgive her for
stealing Dennis Tanner off of Rita. No. Yeah. And I genuinely think that when I look back to because Corrie was obviously brilliant in our eyes during the Kate Oates era with the whole Pat Phelan saga, but then also you had your Hoopish Ken, you had the Aiden suicide story, and I remember thinking about a year or so later when Corrie just didn't felt quite so unmissable again. What was the turning point? When did Corrie kind of lose that spark? And I did put it down to Eva leaving, and I felt that once she bogged off to France, it lost something and it just got a little bit of a darker place, and now she's back again. Like I said, everybody's saying how kind of warm and joyous and classic Corrie it feels. So she's got a lot on her shoulders that she's responsible for, but I think that the writers and actors involved are perfectly capable of doing it. It's just whether they are able to carry on bringing this energy that they've had this week.
I also like the three sisters being back again together, because one of the things we loved about Eva was her relationship with Toya and Leanne.
Yeah, Eva wasn't such an iconic character when she was first in the show.
No, you didn't even know her name for about 6 months.
Months went past, and I'd say,
who's that blonde? At one point, I do remember you going, "Why is that blonde lady there?"
Yeah,
it's like she lives there.
I didn't get on with her at all at the beginning, but a lot of the change in my interest in Eva was when they lent more into the Toya and Leanne relationship. So it would make sense for there to be more of that in the coming months.
But I just need to say, if you are maybe a new listener, and she hasn't been in the show for 5 years.
Oh yeah, we probably should do a bit of an Eva. Who's she then?
Yeah, I mean, you can listen to our bonus, a character profile of Eva. We've put it online, but you can probably search for it. That will give you all of her backstory. But what do you want to say about her? She was Eva Price. No, she was Stella Price's daughter, wasn't she? That's how she came in the show. And Stella was the landlady of the Rovers. Yeah,
and the big reveal around the entrance of this this family into the show, 12 years or so ago, was that Leanne discovered that Stella was also her mum. So it'd been a bit of a mystery who Leanne's mum had been all this time.
Because Leanne and Toya are not actually related. No. They were both...
Leanne's dad was Les Battersby, who had his unfortunate accident about a year or so ago and died. And Toya's mum was Janice, but yeah, they're not blood related.
But they were sisters. They lived as sisters.
Yeah.
When they first appeared on the show.
Yeah. So we found out that there's a relationship there between Leanne and Eva through Stella. And I can't remember a lot of her early storylines. I mean, she was going out with Nick for a little bit.
She went out with Nick and she went completely psycho when he dumped her and smashed up his wing mirror.
Yeah. She's definitely got a bit of a temper to her. And
I was like, interesting.
I can't remember what some of her other big stories were.
I don't know why you put yourself in for giving the potted history of Eva. She was involved.
I don't think there's a whole lot to say.
She was good friends with Billy. She's the one that helped break up the Driscoll slavery gang.
O'Driscoll slavery
O'Driscoll,
gang. Yeah.
sorry.
Ollie is O'Driscoll, isn't he? He's the only one here because he is Ollie Driscoll.
Oh yeah, that's true. She had a baby with Aidan. She fought with Maria. You would have got that from Monday's episode.
Yeah, and this was because Eva was having an affair with Aidan when he was going.
No, Maria had an affair with.
Oh, Maria had an affair with Aidan when he was going out with Eva. That's it.
Eva and Aidan were engaged and went to get married. Eva found out that Maria was and he were cheating behind her back, and then she did stuff like buying a massive pink Range Rover with his money, and then it all came out because Maria found out that she was faking her pregnancy. Mm-hmm. Is that right? And then they had a fight, and then the whole wedding went kaput, and that's also when the factory roof got stolen.
This still probably isn't making a whole lot of sense to people who weren't watching it at the time.
But this was the beginning of Aidan's kind of like depression that led to his suicide, and he went to go and see Eva just before he left, and they had this very intense and romantic kind of reunion.
Had a little dance.
They had a dance, and then he he went. So Susie's dad was Aidan, who was a very significant character in Coronation Street, and that's why there's this link with Carla. Why Carla is everyone I think is Susie's aunt. The other thing that you need to know is that Eva, when she was pregnant with Susie, was going to give the baby to Toya because Toya and Peter...
was she secretly pregnant?
Yes. Toya and Peter were going to have a baby for them, but it fell through. And then Toya didn't tell Peter about this. She was just going to take Eva's baby and say that it was the surrogate's baby and then raise it as their own. And then she ended up helping Eva when she was giving birth to Susie because she was hiding in a cottage to pretend that she wasn't pregnant, and then she
Susie
had to
came
deliver
out
the
and
baby.
She wasn't breathing, wasn't she?
And so Toya saved Susie's life as a baby, and she was also
she breathed her first live breath into her.
She was supposed to be Toya's daughter. So there's it didn't feel to me like any of that was bubbling under the surface at all.
What, this week?
No,
I thought
Leanne
there was.
had a bigger reaction. Yeah, you saw a few looks, but if you, I think I would have. I wanted a bit more from that between Toya and Susie, but there was no time for any of it. No. I really hope that this comes up because Toya's had so many. And since that happened, since we had that story with her helping Eva have the baby, and then Eva decided to keep her baby. Is that what happened? And so Toya, it's slipped through her grasp. Since then, we found out about Rose, and that's all come out. And I don't expect that Eva knows that ever happened. And I don't know if she's going to find out, because that will be really tough for her to hear too, knowing that she offered Susie to Toya and then took her away.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's kind of a very
there
rough
are so
and
many
ready
other things.
Who is Eva.
The other thing that you need
listen
to
to
know,
the character profile if you want to know her properly.
The other thing you need to know about Eva is that she is a diva who sings too. Capital Z has got a set of pipes on her, just like Jodie Granger who plays Glenda. And so I really hope that they have some karaoke sessions together, because they're both fantastic singers.
Absolutely.
And we also had quite a lot of Eva singing on the show, and she'd always dress up quite sexily to do the singing. And at one point, I can't remember whether she was proposing to Aidan or somebody else, but she dressed up and it was called Sexy Mexy, and that was one of the only things I really remembered for a long time. Well, the main things I remembered about Eva was Sexy Mexy.
She had a mariachi band proposal.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's she's fitted in perfectly. I think it's quite nice that she's back at the helm of the Rovers, having come in over 10 years ago as the daughter of the landlady.
Yeah, and she was a barmaid, obviously.
Yeah, and when they put somebody new into the Rovers, you kind of... One of the many problems that the Price family had when they took over the Rovers is that there were all a bunch of newcomers, and the Corrie fans at the time were like, who are these? People coming in, these characters that we're supposed to like and accept as having taken on this prestigious position.
It was that they stitched up Michelle Collins by going, look, we've got a EastEnders person, look at this. And obviously the rivalry between Corrie and EastEnders, everyone's like, well, we've got our own people.
So it didn't go down well at all. But we almost like that here, in that it's mostly a brand new family with characters that we don't know. But I think that the fact that they've got Eva there as a character that lots of viewers do know and love, I think it just about swings it so that it's okay, and there won't be the same backlash to it being mostly new blood because of Eva.
We've got the Driscolls, and we've got Eva we already knew. We've got Ben and Maggie, who are played by incredibly popular actors. Then you've got Ollie, who was already in it for months.
Yay, Ollie.
And then you've got Susie, who we've seen born.
Although she was mysteriously absent on Thursday and Friday's episode, wasn't she, Susie?
Can you imagine her upstairs going, can you keep it down, please? I'm trying to do my homework.
I feel so bad for Susie that she didn't get to go to her own family's Halloween party. She would have loved it.
Maybe she did trick-or-treating and she was just full of sweets.
Maybe she was. But I'm feeling very happy and positive about this family at the moment, about the direction that the show's going with. I'm not going to be one of these people that say, oh, do you think this could be the start of something new? It felt like it's turning a corner, because you just know.
Everybody says that all the time.
You just know that next week there's going to be an episode that's like, oh, this is
Everyone
boring. This is dull. Why'd they put this in? But
this was a very, very good week. Monday's episode was incredibly distinctive, and it felt like a celebration or like a mini movie, and it was quite fun because I think our feelings on it might be more positive, maybe, because of how we watched it. We watched it in the cinema room on the press day. Everyone was having a brilliant time. All of the actors were behind us at the back of the room watching it with us, and everyone was laughing. And I do think when you watch Corrie like that with lots of people,
it was a really great experience.
It was like, it felt like something special. It did, didn't it?
Yeah, being able to sit and watch with people tittering along when, like, Leanne says to Toya, go and knit some tofu.
Yes.
Just that kind of thing. It really did help.
Watching it, because all the other people at the press day and the influencers, they were all Corrie fans. You can't really do that job if you don't like it. So everyone was super invested in it being good, and it really, really was.
Yeah. But it didn't lose it during the week, apart from I thought that Wednesdays wasn't quite so strong. But on the whole, this is going to be a high-scoring week for me. I suppose we'd probably
Should we just give it 5 and move on?
I suppose we'd better just do a little bit of synopsising.
I really don't think that. I mean, we're now on 45 minutes, and we haven't even started.
Well, then let's start. It's okay. Let's do it. Do you want to take this story?
It's so. Oh yeah.
Or do you want me to do it? I can kind of summarise as we go. I'll do this one. So the introduction to the week, it had quite an unusual look to it, didn't it? Because the first shot that you get on Monday is the blindfold over the camera, which is the big reveal to Eva.
We'll just say this one thing. When we watched this in the cinema, and cinema room, and so you get her pair of legs, and that she's wearing like big flare jeans, and you kind of pan up her body. And
there's music as well.
There's this music, and it's like, oh, oh, oh. I was like, oh, good God, what is this? I hate this.
Think that as well. Some of the direction choices.
What's happening? No, I just thought, like, this is the most cheese I've seen on Corrie, and they're getting really bad with it. But it was her listening to music, and she took it off straight away. And I feel like that was a kind of like a rug pull, you're watching it and you're like, oh, and it's like, no, it's Eva. She's going, whoa, immediately.
Yeah, I didn't like that, but as soon as they took the headphones off and it stopped, I was like, okay,
yeah.
but I
think it was clever
It was a clever way of doing it, but then later on in the episode, it wasn't like they said, we're not doing any of that filmic stuff, because they did have the scene later where the camera's panning along the bar and everyone's handing out the shots, and that was a little bit...
And it was very atmospheric because they only had candles out for some reason. Because they were doing a lock-in, but I don't think you were required to not use electricity for lock-ins. And
it was a private party.
Yeah, they had all the candles and stuff, and the lighting was special. And then you had the dancing and everyone's faces in the camera.
Bit of slow-mo.
I feel like they used different film stock for this episode, but you know we're a bit thick and we don't know about that kind of stuff. But it did feel like they went, oh, we've got some expensive film we could use for this episode. But I also don't know whether they had to use different film because the lighting was low. I don't know. I need to read a textbook.
Yeah, I would have... I'd like to ask somebody who didn't know that the Price family, the Driscoll family, were coming in on Monday. Like, what did you think of that starter? Because there was no clue whatsoever on last week's episodes, was there?
No.
That they were coming in. In fact, Glenda said, I think it was last Friday, the new owners are coming in 2 weeks. So if you managed to stay completely 100% spoiler free, good for you. What were you making of this? Because it was a massive, like...
I tell you what,
twist, I suppose.
Why it felt different too is because Coronation Street is about everybody's perspective as residents of Coronation Street, whereas this felt like almost a standalone episode from the perspective of outsiders who've come in. Even though Eva obviously has lived on the street for a long time, but it did feel like, hey, you could pick this up. Like, this is a new start.
That's true.
I don't know.
Although they still were doing some nice callbacks to previous tensions between Eva and some of the others, because the first person that she meets is Maria.
This was great. I did see somebody complain that there was too much backstory here, but that's the point. This show's been going for 65 years.
Yeah, you're always going to get that with soap.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's not enough of it, quite frankly. And it was all very, coincidental that the first person that she sees there is the woman who she had the scrap with in the fountain, but...
This this episode demonstrated better than I've seen them do maybe ever Samuel Longchambon's ability for comedy. Because Maria had a stink face the whole day because she hates Eva and she didn't want her to come back.
Yeah, well, I loved it because she marches straight round to number 9, doesn't she? And she's like, have you heard this? And that was nice, proper Corrie gossip, wasn't it? Have you seen who's just been moving into the Rovers? Only Eva Flaming Price.
That was great.
And then the conversation that they had with Tyrone and Fizz, and Tyrone was just being completely oblivious and saying, you two had that fight in the fountain, didn't you? And both her, Eva and Fizz were like giving Tyrone evil shut up.
Don't be talking about it.
That was a lot of fun. So Eva goes into the pub and is welcomed.
Ian Kershaw wrote this episode.
I know.
I know, but we haven't said that yet.
You have not. He did a good job.
I just love this. It was like a love letter to Coronation Street, like lore.
Yeah, it totally was. Yeah, she goes into the pub and immediately gets this massive warm welcome from Sean, who was a good friend from the past. He introduces them to Glenda. Glenda was... she's definitely softened to them over the week, but she was like flicking the coasters down, isn't she? Because she's been terrified of losing her job, but also I think she's really quite enjoyed being the big cheese at the Rovers since Jenny's departure in the last couple of months. So she knows that this person not only could be giving her marching orders, but she's not going to have quite the power that she's been enjoying.
Well, immediately she's like, "Oh, hello, am I going to lose my job?"
Yeah,
and be
but I think once she gets that reassurance on Wednesday's episode, there's not really any hint of that animosity by Friday, is there? I think that Eva and Glenda will make a brilliant little partnership together. So I'm definitely saying keep those going. So Eva's there with Ben. We didn't actually mention that, did we? The story was...
we haven't said anything.
It doesn't matter. This is a higgledy-piggledy episode.
This is a piggedy-higgledy.
We did get one pig in on Monday, didn't we?
That's Eva's catchphrase.
That was one where we watched it with our friend Rachel, and we were trying to fill her in, and one of the points you said is, she says piggin.
Yeah, that's her thing.
So Ben is boyfriend of Eva. It's certainly not been established that they're married. I don't know whether they've said either way. I think it's just been he's her fella.
It's a partner.
But they don't have the same surname. We know from speaking to people on Coronation Street that they're not married. They've got
I can't believe
they've
it.
got a blended family in that he's got his children, she's got hers.
Yeah,
but
they don't
all
have a child together.
No, but Susie, when we see her later, she calls Ben Dad.
Aww.
So I would kind of like to know the timeline of what's been going on between these two, because
How
Eva.
old is Susie? 5. She must be 5 or 6.
Oh, 7 or 8, I would say.
But Eva
think
left not that long after having her.
Yeah,
and she's been
Eva,
out of the show for 5 years.
No, has she been there? I think no, it's been longer than that. I would say Eva left in like 2018 or something, but maybe I'm wrong. You can have a look that up for me.
I'm frequently wrong, so it's probably me.
Yeah, so she's no, because the last time I know that back in 2020, which was during the pandemic, there was
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
do you remember?
That's a joke.
Johnny and Jenny talked about going to visit Eva in France. As in, like, she's been there for a little bit and she's still there now.
You're right, it's 2018. Very clever, aren't you? You remember.
So, at the very least, for the first...
Yeah, she's been away for 7 years.
Yeah. At the first 3 years of Susie's life, she lived in France. She grew up a French baby in a
bébé.
Un bébé français.
Je suis un bébé
avec une
français.
famille anglaise. And at some point... Eva moved to Hull. She said that she met Ben when he was playing in Toulouse, didn't she? I think we get that backstory.
Lovely sausages.
And did he then just... I don't know how long she's been in the country.
Yeah, he's a professional ex-rugby player.
Judging from Susie's broad northern accent, they've been back over here for quite a while.
I just
and
love...
Leanne and Toy just haven't really mentioned it.
I just love the way that Corrie tells on us as Brits. Like, without even doing it on purpose. Like, every single person who has ever gone to Europe, been raised there, Bethany, you've got Carl, and now you've got Susie. None of them have even learned a word of the language and don't have any accent whatsoever.
No.
And it's like, yeah, this is exactly what British people do. We go somewhere else and we're like, this should be more like Britain. Let's have some sausages and eggs, please.
Do you think that Eva gave Susie like elocution lessons and how to speak Northern while she was down there in France?
It's nout. Say
anyway,
nout.
Ben, we learn, has told Eva that he's bought her the Flying Horse, which is the pub. I think it's supposed to be down Rosamond Street. Not that that exists anymore in the same way it used to. So he's kind of revealing this big surprise that it's actually the Rovers that he's presenting her with.
The Flying Horse is the Fat Brenda of sets.
Yes.
Like, it exists, but you never see it.
I don't know whether we've ever seen the Flying Horse. I know we've definitely seen the Weatherfield Arms before, because Scylla used to work there. Scylla Battersby
Well, I know
Brown.
that... Who was it? Liz worked...
She's worked at various places. I can't remember whether
I don't think we've ever seen the Flying Horse.
We might have done.
Somebody might correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I'm sure we have. I'm sure we've seen the Flying Horse. I think even maybe in the 60s we've seen.
Why do you always show me up?
But anyway, Eva thinks she's getting the Flying Horse, but is actually chuffed a little mimbles that it's the Rovers that's been given to her. And it kind of immediately establishes that these two are a very loving, passionate, no kind of secret supposedly between these two. They've got a very solid relationship, haven't they? And Ben adores her and is giving her this grand gesture, and she thinks it's wonderful. So I think...
Why don't you buy me a pub?
You don't want a pub.
I do. I'd like to turn a pub down.
Anyway, so they're going inside and they're surveying their new domain. And she's just proper happy, and they're unloading their stuff. They're all just snogging over each other, and then Leanne sidles up, happy to see Eva for the first time in however many years. I can't remember when the last time is she's supposed to have visited her. And then Nick and Sarah come along. I felt so bad for Nick this week.
Nick was being slandered.
He was totally.
Left,
he
right,
was
and
being
centre.
ragged on. Yeah, all of this week, and he's there, kind of saying, "Oh yeah, welcome back," just like
Great.
like a stick of his bum, kind of.
Love it.
So it was great to see Eva and Leanne and Toya later that episode re-establishing those links that were so strong before. Again, let's hope they keep this up, because this has not been a year with full-on Toya or Leanne, has it? It's almost like they've been just kind of putting them in storage until Eva has made her grand return. I don't know. But anyway, what happens now? Oh, you get a little bit of Maria and Gary in the bistro, who's just kind of bitching about Eva. Gary was being quite funny about it, wasn't he? And saying, and the latest from the roving reporter at the bistro, over to you, Maria.
I also like that they were having a drink in the bistro because she didn't want to go in the Rovers.
Yeah. Gary just thinks this is quite hilarious, and Maria's making something of nothing. He's just kind of playing along with it a little bit. Eva and Leanne are having a chat in the booth, talking about Toya. Eva's mission number one is, let's get Toya over here. Let's bash your heads together and sort this out. So, yeah, is it Leanne? Yeah, Leanne is sent over to go and get her. But when she walks into the bistro, she walks on quite an intimate moment. No, not that sort. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Well, it could have
between Nick and Toya, because he's there down on one knee proposing to her.
Can't believe it.
When we saw this on the press day, I was like, God, Toya, say no. Don't get yourself trapped in with this dullard Nick. I was there with everybody else going, yeah, Nick is such a square and a loser.
No!
I don't think he's always been like that, because they're talking about him ironing his socks this week, aren't they? They've really made Nick out to be this utterly dull, grey loser. But
he's character assassination,
he's really had
this is like the John Major of Coronation Street all of a sudden out of nowhere.
This isn't what Nick's been like traditionally.
I
know they made a bit
of
a fun about him being a mummy's boy in the past,
and they made fun of him. What's the word? Sliding around on his shoes, and then the next time you see him, he's literally doing it.
That was so funny. I've never seen him slide around on his shoes before, but
are you kidding me? He does it all the time.
I've not noticed this.
This was what was great about that, because he does do that, and as soon as is Ian Kershaw's script, just to remind everyone again, as soon as he said that, I was like, he does do that. And then when they cut to him doing it, I was like, this is fantastic.
He was like overdoing it, wasn't he, for comedic effect?
Of course he was.
But anyway, yeah,
he's such a good sport. Ben Price.
Nick proposing to Toya, a little bit early in the relationship to be doing that, maybe.
Well,
although this is soap timeline.
Entire life for this woman.
Yeah,
it's overdue. Actually,
we've seen bits of their relationship, but really, I don't think that Corrie has given us much reason to support these two so far.
Look, they've both had their passports toasted for this, so they might as well go all the way.
This is true. But Toya's a little bit taken aback by this proposal.
Well, she's actually respond. She's completely thrown for a loop, and then she throws champagne over both of them.
Leanne does.
She kind of misses both of them with it, though.
Come on, Jane.
I think it's really funny that I just love the fact that Jane Danson kind of like she kind of like manages to miss both of them with the majority of it, and I just imagine like Georgia Taylor and Ben Price being like, one take, no more. That was fine.
I think they were just like, not the face.
This is where the money's made.
But anyway,
both all incredibly beautiful in that scene.
So, what do you think about Eva kind of demanding that Leanne and Toya make up? Because I'm still very much on Leanne's side here, in that Toya did do the ultimate dirty on her. Should Leanne be expected, just because her sister's back, to rebuild these bridges? It was absolutely treacherous what Toya and Nick did to each other while she was going through all that cult stuff.
To me, it felt like Eva was the surrogate audience here, going, I'm bored of this, let's move on. There's there's nothing more to do. Unless you're gonna continue their feud, move on.
But the problem is
the feud was hilarious, and I think there should have been more feuding.
I
really would have liked to have had Eva deal with more hilarious Battersby bothering.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She just said, right, that's... And, it did feel quite unrealistic that they sorted this out in a day, an evening, an hour, 2 bottles of wine. But that's what they obviously wanted to reset this relationship, because they want to do something else with these characters.
For me, it was a classic example of Coronation Street setting up this, like, oh, what's going to happen here? How are they going to get out of this one? And then not really mentioning it for a year, near on, and then saying they just do make up. We didn't get to see really any of... How many scenes have Leanne and Toya had together so far this year? I bet you could count it on one hand. And it's just like, we don't really know how we're going to get out of this problem. But even let's have Eva do it. Have they just put it on ice because they knew that Kath Tilsley was coming back? I think that they probably could have, if they'd wanted to, made this a bit of a long term. Let's have you talking again and give them a reason to.
I would have liked to have had a build up of them fighting the week before, just to remind us. But
then would it have felt more unrealistic that they made up so quickly? Because
my preference is they didn't make up quite so quickly. But I think there's an argument to be made here that these women might just be sick of fighting, and Leanne is so stubborn, and she's the one that's perpetuating it. And I think in her heart,
has every right.
I agree with you, but in her heart, she must know there's nothing I can do here. I've got to choose now between my pride and my family, and now that Eva's back, it really is not going to work out for me.
The Battersby bond between those two is one that should never have been broken, and maybe even if, like, in 3 weeks running up to this, rather than showing them at each other's throats, they could have had them kind of confiding with somebody. Oh, I miss Toya, or I wish that me and Leanne were mates again, or isn't this horror, anything at all like that, because all we know is they hate each other. Oh wait, now they're friends again, and it's not the fault of. I don't blame Ian for making it this quick, because I think that was the task he was given: make them go from 60 back down to 0 over the course of, you've got 5 scenes. It just came across as a little bit unrealistic and a bit half-assed, and I remember last year thinking, how on earth will they ever resolve this in a believable way? And they didn't. But I'm glad that it is resolved, because I prefer them to be friends.
I know you're saying that, and I do get why you I can see your perspective on it. But genuinely, I was just quite happy and relieved that. I do think it happened too quickly, but I'm happy it happened. And if they had to do it in an episode, same as what I said about Jenny leaving, if it had to be done in one episode, they did it as well as they could.
Yes, that's a really good comparison, actually.
But I have an update about the flying horse from Coropedia. I just
go on.
gave them a message and immediately replied with comprehensive information.
Go on then.
Has been on screen many times in 1962, 1972, 1978, 1999 and a few other episodes, but there's no continuity with what it looks like. It's different sets every time. So thank you, Coropedia, for correcting me. But maybe I'm just gonna still think of it as the Fat Brenda of sets.
So we've got the reveal of Susie and Ollie up next, haven't we? And
everyone loves Susie.
Everybody loves Susie, played by Aurora Bradshaw, I think she's called, who's the sister of Bobby Bradshaw, who plays Jake. So we've got yet another Coronation Street keep it in the family siblings alongside the Flanagans.
Watch out, Flanaclan, because the Bradshaws are coming for you.
I like her. I worry that, I don't know, she felt like a little bit too full on, but then equally
very precocious.
Yeah, she is a very precocious character. But then you might say, well, that's the sort of daughter that Eva might raise.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she's also very kind of bubbly and effervescent and in your face. And we only saw Susie on Monday anyway, so it's a bit too early to judge. I do wonder whether she's going to be the type of child character like Sam, who's kind of always there for storyline purposes. Because when Sam came into it, he was...
Yeah, it's an age, isn't it, where you can... I mean, Sam's kind of aged into, I need to take my education, well, the actor.
Yeah.
Like, I've got school now.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that...
or is Susie going to be in the background? I don't know, but I like her.
Although, I mean, Sam isn't the first actor this has happened to, because Simon and Amy were both much more when they were around that age of like being, anywhere under 10, between 5 and 10. You're in it as much as you're legally allowed to be. And then once you get to a certain point, you have to start actually studying stuff.
Yeah.
But they have a tutor.
I don't think that the character of Susie is necessary for this pub family to feel whole, but equally, obviously, they had to have Susie because she was an established character that existed. So
the background of the Driscolls is that Eva has Susie, but Ben has 2 grown sons.
Ollie and Will. I don't think Will's not grown. He's 15.
Ollie and Willie.
Yes. Will is 15.
Oh, that's right. He's currently
on a school trip to Scotland.
Aberdeen.
I don't know what the production decision around this is, but sometimes they will do that, won't they? They'll bring in a family.
I mean, look how long Dee took to turn up.
Well, yeah, that's an extreme example, isn't it? I don't think we're going to be waiting years for Will to turn up.
Will's lost in Aberdeen. He's got to walk home.
But it doesn't feel like Will is needed at the moment yet either. But maybe once we see him, we'll realise why he has to exist, because there's enough teenagers on the street at the moment.
I think it's really hilarious to imagine, and I don't think this is what happened, but to imagine that ITV has done like really intricate scientific experimentation on people to discover how many new characters they can cope with in one single episode, and they've gone, nope, Will is one character too many, and if we put him in now, he's going to end up like Eva at the beginning, where for 6 months everyone's going, who is that person again? I've forgotten their name.
Yeah. I think that Corrie is going to have to do a really, really good job. He's got the hardest job, because immediately, Maggie sells herself. Why do we need Maggie? Well, it goes without saying. Why do we need Ben? Same. Why do we need Will? I don't know. So I'm interested to see what they decide to do with him rather than just being a spare part.
What is he like?
Yeah, I wonder.
Because you got Ollie, who is...
So this was the big reveal, and why on earth they decided in the pre-publicity for this episode to reveal that Ollie was a secret Driscoll, I don't know. I don't know how this works sometimes, but surely that would have been the perfect example of a big twist.
Only people that go online care about this, really. The average person who watches this would find it quite amusing and interesting, but it's us lot who go online and spend our spare time talking about this that would find this the most fascinating. And the fact that Corrie went, hey, here's something you didn't know, was kind of silly.
Well, the big thing that they kept secret from the viewers until Monday night was that it was Maggie who bought the pub, wasn't it? Because I think that viewers were led to believe until Monday that it was Ben buying it. But actually, no, it was Maggie. And I'm still really thinking, so what?
Yeah. So the only reason they did that is to give her leverage over the other two characters.
Because, it was great for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
But if
it wasn't a secret that needed to be kept.
No, if they'd have come in and said, hey, so this is the new family in the Rovers, Maggie's the one that's that's bankrolled it.
That was better told in advance than going, look, Ollie's one of the Driscolls.
This secret character that has been a mystery for the past 4 or 5 months.
Who hasn't had a surname in the credits the entire time. Who also had that weird, intriguing interaction with Toya.
I still think that's unanswered.
I need to watch that again now.
So this was
knew all
3
along.
weeks ago? Yeah,
we knew for a long time that Ollie...
We have known since before Ollie appeared on screen that he was going to end up being Eva's stepson. And if you go back and listen to some of the old podcasts, we're kind of avoiding talking about it, but also being a bit confused.
I spent a lot of time going, I don't get this.
No, and I still don't get what that thing in the bistro is about, where he's like, oh, you're called Toya. See, he must have known about the existence of Toya because Eva would have mentioned it. And is it just, and I think the answer is yes, a big coincidence that Ollie happens to be in Weatherfield, the very place that his family are buying a pub, or was he sent out by Ben on a scouting mission?
If he's from,
I don't think so.
If they live in Hull, what's he doing in Weatherfield to have his car smashed up by some dodgy MOT person?
Yeah, and Jenny only left. No, when did the pub go on sale?
I don't remember.
That was longer, but I think.
Well, he bought it the day after it went up on sale, apparently.
Yeah, it's
the other weird.
It doesn't make sense to me still why Ollie was being, and who was he speaking to on the phone?
No, exactly.
Because at the end of that scene,
must have been Ben.
He looks over.
Because it can't have been Eva.
No.
Right, and the other thing
it's bizarre.
The other thing is, when Susie came in, she sees Leanne and she goes, Auntie Leanne. And Leanne goes, oh, it's so good to see you again.
Yeah.
So you assume that both Toya and Eva and Leanne have...
Yes, actually, you're right.
Have seen Susie enough that she recognises... Because don't forget, when kids are that young, you have to be seeing them regularly, otherwise they forget who you are, right? Because to us, seeing a kid when they're 2 and seeing them when they're 5 feels like a lot, you know, I've seen you before. The kid doesn't remember you at all.
No.
How many times when you're a kid do you have grown-ups going to you, I know you, and you're like, sorry, I've never met you before in my life. So they've met her regularly enough that she knows
enough.
and she likes them and she runs to them. So why is Eva having family get-togethers without Ollie? I guess maybe it makes a little sense because he's older, but neither Leanne nor Toya knew that Ollie was related to their sister.
No.
That's a bit weird.
It's very odd. And
I don't know why they've done this.
I hope
Ollie.
it's not a plot hole and a mystery for mystery's sake. I kind of need that to be resolved, but you'd have thought that it would have been resolved this week.
It makes sense. I guess it does make sense that Ollie moved out quick. Maybe we'll find out that Ollie had moved out for some reason.
Yeah. You also get this bit of dynamic beforehand, which is another classic Corrie thing to do, where Ben gets Dee Dee's back up a little bit, doesn't he, when he comes in and he's asking her to move, and she's like, oh yeah, you think you're bossing me around?
He says, could you move, darling? She's like,
darling?
I'm actually a rising star in the Chicago lawyering scene. So
I've got an award on my desk actually for being great at lawyering.
Yeah.
So is anything going to go there? I don't particularly need anything to go.
Well, they're going to have an affair.
Oh yeah, they are going to have an affair, obviously, aren't they? I certainly hope.
Oh, it was just a silly little charming soap trope.
It was a total soapy thing to do, but I don't need it to go any further than that particularly.
He's like, get out of the way, and she's like, oh, you're rude. And then later on, Ollie goes, look, it's my girlfriend. And she goes, oh, we've already met. What a dick.
Yeah. So Toya turns up, doesn't she? And she's absolutely fuming at Eva because she hadn't told her that she was coming to visit.
And Leanne also threw champagne on her.
Yes, and Toya's that. I just love it. When the Battersbys get like this is like
I love this.
Battersby, isn't it? She's there saying, pass me a drink, I'm going to chuck it all over Leanne.
And then they're wrestling with it, and then it goes on the floor, and everyone's like, and Leanne is just insufferable going, oh.
So this is what then brings the everybody out my pub, let's have an intervention between the 3 sisters so that we can tie up this little storyline thread that's been dangling for the past year or so. And everyone heads off to the bistro, don't they? Nick shuffles them down the road, which is quite a nice shot of them all walking down the cobbles. Susie's learning all about Manchester, and she's not impressed by by at least what George and Brian have got to say.
Canals and cotton.
Yes.
They could have gone with, we've got a cute bumblebee that's literally on everything.
Our logo.
You can see them on the straws when we go into the bistro.
Yeah, you'd have thought that somebody like Brian would know how to talk to children, but
no, apparently he just knows how to throw up on
them. The actual discussion between Eva and Leanne and Toya, short as it was, I did quite enjoy, but that was just because I'm a bit cruel and I liked how they were making fun of Nick and the fact that they've all slept with him and he's not that much of a catch. And Leanne, Eva making a bit of a kind of noise and she
called them the 3 concubines of Nick Tilsley.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah, and it kind of breaks the ice a little bit, doesn't it? But poor Toya, I mean, she actually does love Nick, but she's always joining in the fact that, I have ended up with a loser, haven't I?
Eva basically takes the tack of, let's just blame Nick for everything that's happened and just drink wine and get along.
Yeah, but anyway, it seems to do the job, and before long the lock-in, not that lock-in is over, and Toya's back in the bistro telling Nick that no, she doesn't want to marry him. She just wants to stay unmarried to him. She says
their family the way they are.
Yeah.
It does look a bit sad.
He looks a bit sad. He's looking down at the ring. He's a little bit more traditional family values
than
she is.
Well, he's a soap character. He wants to get married. It's not a real relationship unless you get married on a soap.
Well, was Toya married to the one that wasn't Greg? Toby. Her ex,
I don't know.
I can't remember. But obviously she married Imran and that didn't turn out so well. That lasted about 2 months, didn't it, before she was driving him into a wall.
I think
that was.
I think that Nick was just sad because he's like, we're not going to get a cover then, are we?
Yeah.
You always get to be on the cover of the soap mags when you're getting married, unless somebody dies.
Well, Eva and Toya and Leanne were all on the cover of the TV soap mags this week, so
good
maybe
for
he's
them.
right. Maybe he's right.
Put it in a frame.
I'm kind of glad that they're not getting married because it does leave an easy way out should they decide that this coupling is not the most ideal or iconic one in Corrie history.
So romantic,
but
Michael.
I've almost made peace with the fact that they're going to be together now for the time being. But you could do better, Toya. Bring back Spider. Honestly, wipe the floor with Nick. Seriously. Anyway, back in the pub, you got Maria and Eva giving each other evils. Sarah's doing a bit of Googling about Ben online and finding he's a rugby player. There's really nice sort of a nice drip feed of information about these characters during the episode. There's also the drama that's going on when Ben reveals that he's not got enough money to pay for the pub, doesn't he? So Eva decides to pack up and leave, and that's
Glenda's like, Carla wants to phone. Carla needs to chat with you.
Yeah, but that lasts for all of about 2 scenes, doesn't it? Because later on, he takes Eva to the back and is like, "Look at this, babe.
Transfer
money
accepted."
And then she's like, "Oh, so I'm in charge." And they have a lovely old time, and they do a proper knees up, and she declares a lock in. And then at the end of the episode, at last, Ben and Eva are having a bit of a slow dance to Lady in Red, again to lovely little bit of relationship building for the characters. They're all showing the viewers that they're all a bit lovey-dovey and into
and
each
Eva
other.
is definitely a red lady.
She certainly is. But then you get a knock on the door, and when we were watching this the first time, I was like, "Oh, I think that's Maggie. Hooray." And it was. And she's there, and she kind of looking over the place with disdain, isn't she? Not in a, "Oh, I can't believe this is the place that we bought," but you call this a party. I'll show you what a party is.
Go on then.
I'm the landlady of this place. And she kind of walks to the back and says, "I'm Maggie Cara Driscoll, and this is my pub." And it's just brilliant. She says, "Oh, this place is more of a wake at the moment." And she declares that they should all party like their lives depend on it, and they do. And it was just absolutely wonderful.
When are we going to stop talking about Ireland, having characters from Ireland, going to Ireland, and coming back and actually show Ireland?
They will never film in Ireland.
Why?
Too expensive.
I want to go to Ireland.
You'd have thought that they might be able to manage it.
Because if they go to Ireland, we can go and we can use our Patreon money to go there. I really want to go.
Well, look, the Driscolls have clearly got some sort of backstory that's going to be revealed at some point, whether or not they dress up part of Manchester to look like Ireland.
That doesn't count.
Or whether they actually go over there. You know, they're not native leprechauns that they got skipping around.
Oh, here we
it's
go.
Not the same thing, is it? Right, Wednesday on this very,
an hour and 20 minutes in, we've got to one
podcast.
Story. I have got stuff to do today,
so
and so do you.
You've got probably loads of stuff, but this is a momentous
very
week
important.
for Weatherfield. And I don't think I've for a very long time been this excited. I've said Wednesday here, but it's obviously Thursday. Very excited to find out what happens next, because usually it's like, oh yeah, this episode's Corrie's on,
well,
48 hours it'll
guess.
be on again. Guess what's going to happen next, or it'll happen when it's happened. But this was like, I really, really desperately need to see the second episode of the week, and we put that tweet out saying, "Oh, I hope that they accidentally upload it early to a YouTube." Alas, they didn't.
And we got 2 people telling us to get a life.
We did too, yeah.
Which means we're more popular than ever.
But anyway, I thought that as a day 2, the first settling in of the Driscolls, they did, again, a very, very good job of getting their feet under the table and showing what the family are like, with that slight hint of menace at the end, which I wasn't too happy about. But yeah, the team meeting was great, and Maggie's there saying that everybody can stay. Gemma comes in, eats Lauren's biscuits.
No, she makes a stack of biscuits and dips it in Lauren's tea.
Yes.
And that was great. Both those actresses were hilarious.
Well, they're kind of wanting to know who's in charge here, and I do like the power dynamic that they've set up between them. Is it Eva? Is it Matt? I mean, it's
and they
classic,
still don't know, do
It's
they?
classic interfering mother-in-law stuff, isn't it? But Maggie kind of has the final line in this scene, at least, by saying, "I'm the boss of the landlady."
Love it.
Which is fantastic. Because Eva is not the sort of person that needs a boss.
All the way through this, Eva is continually appealing to Ben to, like, can you rein your mum in, please? And clearly, Maggie does not like Eva, and we're not sure.
I don't know whether
Why?
it's that she doesn't like Eva. It's just, I think we've definitely got a case of nobody could be good enough for my darling son.
I know.
Was it today's or Wednesday's where she's talking proudly about the rugby plaque, and she obviously, he is her, blue-eyed boy. And
Yeah, I mean, let's just address one of the most obvious points of this, is that I'm not sure how old Ben is supposed to be. I'm assuming he's a sort of similar age to Eva, but he...
Yeah, I mean, Eva's our age, isn't she? She had her... I know, I remember Catherine Tilsley had her 40th not long after
40th or 30th?
40th birthday,
Okay.
not long after
Well, she would have had her 30th at the same
It was
time.
in the news and everything.
It was a bit, wasn't it?
Anyway.
So... I know, I don't know why you went.
I'm not going to say anything
Okay,
more.
we won't. So listen, so they've got very different aged children. Okay, so Susie's very young, and we've had people say that they think that there's no way Ollie and Ben look the same age. They do not look the same age at all.
No, I don't. I didn't get that whatsoever. Some people have been very kind of, they're clearly miscast here, but
They're not at all.
And sometimes I'll notice and think, they look a bit close in age, but this I
They don't
just
at
didn't.
all. They just don't.
Aaron McCusker is just one of these sickeningly handsome, rugged
He's
types
youthful.
that ages gracefully rather than just
Yes.
going horribly grey like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. He's aged well, but he does look like a man who could have a son.
Yeah.
Who is Ollie's age.
If he had him youngish.
So the unspoken background here is that he's had a child very young with somebody who is of a different race to him, because there's obviously he's a different race to Ollie. So I just wonder whether Maggie really, really liked this first lady who's the mother of Ollie. And I don't know if she's the mum of Will.
I can't remember whether... I'm trying to remember, because we've seen pictures of Will.
I can't even remember seeing a picture of him.
I think that possibly Will is also...
Do you think they both got the same mum?
Yeah, could be.
So maybe
I'm picturing it
Maggie
wrong, I don't know.
absolutely adored this woman, who maybe is dead, maybe is divorced.
They haven't said, have they?
Maybe-
I don't think.
Maybe
Might have missed it.
she did something terrible. No, I kind of get the idea that maybe Maggie prefers the old summer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think maybe, who knows whether maybe Eva and Ben had an affair that made him leave Ollie's and Will's mum.
Yeah, could have done.
Because that's what happened with Christina and Jenny, and that's why that grudge never went.
I'm not getting the impression that Maggie absolutely hates Eva and she can't wait to get rid of her. I know she made that line about, if she died, we'd soon get over it.
I really get the impression, even though it's supposed to be for comedic purposes, that they really do not like each other.
I'm not getting Gail and Ivy vibes from them yet. Clearly, with this kind of mother-in-law character, you're going to have some sort of tension, but I don't think it's as harsh as it was with Gail and Ivy.
There you go. Well,
But
that's
I don't
your
know.
opinion.
I guess time will tell with that, won't it? Anyway, so
What happened to this classy Poirot and Agatha Christie themed Halloween party? Because
you'd have had something to say about that, wouldn't
Eva
you?
didn't even have a costume that went with that theme.
No.
That's what I don't get. It's like this didn't happen. There's no way this happened. But it's like the person who wrote the script on Wednesday and the person who wrote on Thursday and the person who wrote the script on Friday didn't have any conversation, and there's no continuity because it never gets mentioned again.
Maybe Eva's just got a whole box full of costumes like we do that she can just.
But why
pull
did
out at
she?
the last minute.
Why did she dress as a vampire's victim to an Agatha Christie party?
I don't know.
I
think
I
she
fundamentally disagree with the premise at the beginning. I'm on Maggie's side here.
I think
it's a
Eva,
Halloween party.
Eva knows that she needs to keep Maggie sweet,
I know, but
and she knows
the fact that there was this disagreement about whether it was going to be a traditional Halloween or a Agatha Christie party, and then on Friday, without any more ever comment on it.
I thought it was briefly touched on at the beginning of Friday's episode.
I don't remember.
But anyway, I'm not bothered. I'm glad that didn't distract too much.
Don't have classy Halloween.
You said that Tim looked a little bit like Poirot with that moustache,
did.
didn't you?
He did.
Poirot with a hand on his shoulder, dressed as Gomez. Anyway,
We're not even at that. We're still on Thursday.
yeah, there's kind of this argument about what the Halloween costume's going to be. I like it when Eva's saying, look, we are going to have a Poirot Agatha Christie, and Maggie's like, of course we are, and kind of gives a look of saying, no way,
we're not.
I am getting my way here. We're definitely getting a traditional Halloween party. Good for you, Maggie.
Yes, and that's right, it is traditional.
Toya and Leanne come back again, and they're just talking about... there's a little bit more of making up between them. There's clearly any animosity that there was is pretty much gone. And
well, they're talking about the proposal.
Yeah, because this is when Leanne finds out that they're not getting married, and Leanne goes over to Nick and is quite grown up and says, look, just look after her, okay? Which is good, because Toya is the most important person in Leanne's life, as much as it pains her to admit it sometimes. What else did we have?
Oh, I like this bit where... Go on.
Oh, the Toya and Nick unproposal.
He opens the box and she's like, no, and there's no ring inside, and says, will you do me the honour of not marrying me?
I feel like they've done that before, but I don't know, I might be making it up. It was sweet.
You guys know that we
are proponents of matrimony.
I think that marriage is important legally, and I do think that if you don't want to get married, you should understand the legal consequences of that. And I do think that non-married couples should have legal protections in law, which they do not have currently. All that aside, I do think it's nice to have representation on a soap for people that don't want to get married, because I don't think there is very much of that. And as somebody who doesn't have children, I get fed up with how much it feels like a bit of a treat at the end of a film or something, when look, they've got a baby as well, now their lives are complete, and it feels a bit... Coronation Street's good with that too, because there are lots of childless women couples on Coronation Street, but lots of people choose not to get married, and I do think that soaps are very pro-marriage, and I genuinely don't think there's anything sinister or oppressive about it. It's just literally because, and I don't think lots of people on soaps get married either. I think they're quite, the people that work there aren't super Christian and into marriage. I think it's just because they want the outfits and the episode and the build up, and
so we're not. I mean, we may still do. They may decide, actually we do. But for now, we're saying we're not going to get that for Nick and Toya.
For the people that don't want to get married, I really hope they don't go back on it, because I remember, and this is a spoiler, if you haven't seen the end of The Big Bang Theory, stop listening to me now.
Okay, if that's enough warning.
The end of The Big Bang Theory, I'm never going to watch any of it again. I know people take the mick out of it, but I enjoyed watching it. But the end of it, that blonde one and the other guy, the nerd, they're together,
whittles it down,
and then the blonde one goes, I don't want to have a kid, and then I was like, this is great, this is a really nice positive mainstream portrayal of a woman who decided that she didn't want to have children, and she's being supported in her decision. And the last episode is they're going, I'm pregnant and I'm loving it, and we're all supposed to go, wow, you didn't fall for the horrible evil anti-natalists movement. Can we not just please, seriously? So for people that don't want to get married, I hope for you that you have this representation of a couple who decide that they are perfectly happy how they are, because that's completely fine.
Right. There are other bits to the Driscolls on Wednesday's episode, because Ollie's around looking for his dad, and then it turns out that his dad has already found his way into another story. So I need to get the punch bowl from
downstairs.
What?
I need to write this down.
Okay. Amy will lend
the punch bowl.
Fridays also is Maggie's not happy to see Eva sweeping up outside the Rovers, because she's a landlady, not a cleaner. Although Jenny used to do that all the time, didn't she?
Well, she's there. It's sweet because she's there, sweeping up. She's so super proud. When you get a new car, not that I would know. You want to clean it, not that you would know. You want to buff it up and make it look nice. This is what she's doing. She's tarting it up, isn't she?
But it's basically an opportunity for Adam, Eva's ex, to walk by, and they have a little hug, and Maggie is introduced to who he is. I don't think she says at this point. No, she just says she was a friend. He was a friend, don't they?
Well, yeah.
And then Maggie gets again pulled into number one. I just loved how they had the Driscolls meet up with lots of other characters, and they were spreading their links already, because you had Maggie with Asher, you got Maggie's met Ken now, she's been into number one, you got Ben's got involved in the Kevin storyline. This is just right.
Learned from the Baileys.
Yes, that's a really good comparison, actually, because the Baileys were so insular, that's right, for years, and some might say in many ways they still are.
It's interesting because the Driscolls are the first new family since the Baileys.
Yes, pretty much.
Probably wrong, but I feel like they're the biggest new
Yeah,
family
feels
since
like.
the Baileys, and I think that they have learned their lessons with how not to do it.
Yeah, you're right. When you putting them in charge of the Rovers, you couldn't
Not
keep them
have
hidden away
interact,
from the
yeah.
community. But I do like how they made a point of getting them into different places. And Maggie goes to number 1 looking for this punch bowl, and then you got this unresolved question because Maggie sees something inside Ken's
She
dresser.
looks in the cupboard for it.
And-
And can I just please say, we do have that same punch bowl, so I feel
Do
pretty
we?
proud of myself. I bought it at a car boot sale for £1.
We got the same oven as Ken as well, haven't we?
We used to have the same oven.
Anyway, so she sees something in this cupboard, and it was tantalisingly left. And I thought, oh, they'll say what that is by the end of the episode, and they don't.
They don't, and you...
We assumed that they'd seen a picture of Adam with Eva,
Yeah.
and this was going to be her saying, "Oh, so you see that Adam was just a friend? Well, oh, I guess what I saw." But
That was
Eva,
like her trump card.
yeah.
But then it gets immediately...
Yeah,
played.
Eva reveals that her and Adam used to be more than just friends. So I don't know what it was.
What can it be? What could
Literally,
The only link that there would be in that house is something to do with Adam.
yeah.
But Eva's got, there was the joke earlier when Maggie shouts, "Hey, Eva's ex," and she says, "Oh, everyone turned around." And clearly she has had quite a few blokes in the pub, but the only person it could be is Adam, because I don't know. We're assuming it's a picture.
Yeah, only because that's what I
What
literally
else
I don't
could
know.
it be?
I don't know, but there's obviously more to the Driscolls' backstory than meets the eye at the moment. But to say that there's some kind of link with, Ken or Cassie or Tracy or
I mean,
I really don't know. I'm very curious to find out. I hope that they don't leave. Although the way that they've left it past the initial episode, that could be something that is now months go by, and then they may have a big reveal and they're saying, remember when Maggie saw something in Ken's dresser? You'd forgotten about that, hadn't you? But I tell you what, I'm not going to rest until we find out what it was that's in there now. I hope it's something, not just, it was just a picture of Adam and she didn't mention it. Anyway, because it could have been a scene that was then later cut. I don't know. Anyway, Halloween decorations for the Rovers. Gemma as our resident fashion and Halloween expert. Your thoughts on the decor of the Rovers? How did the set dressers do?
absolutely fantastic.
Sorry, I mean the Driscolls. We are in universe here.
All I'm going to say is that there are 3 ways of doing Halloween, right? There's doing authentic,
Here we go, yeah.
where you go, this is like what a witch's house would look like. And a witch wouldn't have like a skeleton, like a plastic skeleton in there, would she? No. She'd have like potions and pumpkins
Jars
and
with eyes of newt.
yeah, and like brooms and stuff. Then there's like the cute ones where it's like, here's a pumpkin with a cute little face on it. Here's a cute.
We did have a bit of that though.
And then there's like just like tacky plastic pound shop nonsense with bits of cobwebs and plastic spiders, and that's what they went for.
Yeah, but it looked good, didn't it?
But that's
they
like,
went full in on it. They didn't do half measures.
That's like nostalgic, happy place Halloween.
Yeah,
I
it made a really good impact.
to the like authentic. This could just be a witch's house look. But I will always end up with the plastic tacky pound shop crap because that's what we got.
They were brilliant. The costumes were amazing, and I think again, as let's make a big impact for this new family in their first week, it's perfect that this coincided with Halloween, so they were able to do all of this. I just loved it.
I seriously...
They even opened up the ladies' toilet for the first time in I don't know how many years. This must be like a decade since we've seen inside there.
That's because
that's for another story.
Moaning Myrtle wanted to join in.
Anyway, so Eva, we have this little mix-up where Eva she kind of propositions Adam in the back room, doesn't she? Because he's dressed up as Count Dracula, and that's the same as what Ben is, and there's this a little bit of a misunderstanding, and it was, could have been worse. Just ask Natasha about what happens if you dress up in the same outfit as somebody else,
Yeah,
Adam's lucky that he's lived to tell the tale here. But yeah, later Maggie finds out that because Eva admits to her later, oh yeah, me and him were a bit closer together. But I don't know. I suppose if Maggie is unconvinced about how good Eva is for Ben, this could be something that, could she try and push Adam and Eva back together so that Ben catches them at it? I don't know. But then equally, is there any... What's the benefit in Maggie trying to get rid of Eva? Because I suppose she's not properly the landlady, is she? I suppose in Maggie's eyes. No, she is the landlady.
She's the licensee.
Yeah, she is the licensee.
She's got the name over the...
If she pushes Eva away from her precious Ben, then...
it's too early to tell.
Then it's no good for her because it'll mean that she'll... Well, she won't lose the... No, she won't lose the pub, will she?
It's her pub.
It's her... yeah, you're right. It's her pub at the end of the day. So what if Eva moves? They'll just get another licensee.
The thing about Maggie that we don't know is, why has Maggie got all this money?
Crime.
And why is she... I assume she's going to live there because this is what they do on Coronation Street. Where's she lived before? Has she sold her house to
Hull? Well, they've been in Hull, haven't they?
No, I don't mean that. Maggie didn't live with Ben and Eva in Hull.
Oh, I see.
She has her own house somewhere.
Well, she might have flown straight in from Dublin.
She could have been living in Ireland. Maybe she misses her son and she wants to be with him. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot we don't know, and I don't think we can guess yet.
We didn't get Susie. I suppose we didn't have the opportunity going, oh, Grandma.
No.
Which you would do if you haven't seen them for a while. But yeah, I don't think they were in a scene together.
I kind of would like, because this happened with Cillian Murphy, who's an Irish actor who had to do lots of work in England. I think he said his kids started having English accents, so he went back to Ireland because he didn't like them sounding English. So it would be interesting if Maggie, when she sees Susie, is like, oh, why don't you have a lovely Irish accent like I do?
I think that they just need to shy right away from any stories that comment on Susie's accent and the...
No, it would make sense if she's estranged from...
I suppose so.
Think about it, if one parent has one accent and another parent has another and you literally don't know anybody else, it's not necessarily a given that you're going to pick Irish over English.
No, I guess
so not. It's not that weird that she doesn't... It's more weird if she's been hanging around with Maggie as well and yet she's not got that accent. Maybe she's like Gillian Anderson, who can switch between American and English.
Maybe she can.
We don't know. Susie is a powerhouse and I think she could probably do any accent in the world.
Anyway, so Maggie's found out about Adam. Ben kind of doesn't... He says he doesn't care, doesn't he? He's like, oh, I'm sure I was expecting to meet a few exes when I came round here, but... I mean, Adam has used so little on Coronation Street, isn't he? It was almost a bit like the Maria feud thing. You got to shove it in here just to get it out in the open. Maybe this will be the end of it. I don't know. I'm not particularly gagging for Adam to get any more screen time either, to be perfectly honest. But if he does, yeah, whatever.
I thought you were saying that Adam gets so little screen time that this is the beginning of a story for him.
It could be. It could be, or it could be. Let's get it out the way. It's been spoken about.
Sam Robertson, you're agreed, what was it, where you say your minimum episode count was 3 this year, wasn't it? And he's like, no, it wasn't, weirdly. No.
Funny that we missed a few people. You said earlier that we missed Sally, and also Alia wasn't in today's episode as well on Adam's arm, was she?
My God.
Oh, no. Anyway, so Maggie basically spends the Halloween party plying everybody with free vodka and pickle juice shots, having a grand old time. Eva's getting more and more peed off about the fact that there's clearly eating into their profits quite heftily, and she has to be the one that calls time on it.
Well, she keeps telling Ben to tell Maggie, and Maggie knows, because she's also telling her too, but she doesn't listen to anything she says. No.
It's a bit, I wonder if we'll get, because this is what kind of we wanted to see with Jenny and Daisy, wasn't it? When those two both owned the pub a couple of years ago, and we're like, oh, what's that going to be? And then it turned into something of nothing.
Nothing. It will be nothing, and you'll like it. A
few little arguments about Jenny wanting one thing and Daisy wanting something else. But hopefully they'll do a little bit more of it this time. We also had, bizarrely, completely unnecessarily, but absolutely brilliantly, David's little introduction to Ben, where he comes in and is just making fun of the fact that he's like, oh, you're a big man rugby star, are you? And he goes into the back, gets his ball, and Ben's just like, ping, and takes the ball off of him. He
just flicks him in the forehead, and it bamboozles David so much.
Yeah, he wasn't said, oh, it's good to see Ben cutting David down to size. Not that there was much that he could get, not much cutting down that was needed for him.
Inappropriate.
But yeah, that was just, this week was lots of lovely little community interactions, and this was another one, totally unnecessary, unless this is working towards is Ben and Shona gonna have some kind of affair together?
Shut up.
I certainly hope not. And I don't really need there to be a feud between those two. It's just giving, if it that scene was giving Ben an idea of what David's like, fine. Doesn't need to be anything more than that. Anyway, that was basically it, wasn't it? They have a lovely old evening, closing time. Adam gets brought up again, and Eva says, "Look, honestly, babe, you've got nothing to worry about here." He doesn't seem like he is worried about it.
He's on Friday already, oh yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of it, wasn't it? It was really, really, really lovely week with that story.
I tell you one thing, what I feel that it felt like this week. You know when you're a kid, right? And you get somebody come round and you want to impress them. And so you go around your room and you go, look, this is my robot, and this is my Barbie, and this is Ken, and this is her clothes, and here's my little mansion that she lives in, and this is my special toy that I got when I was little, and this is my duvet. This is what it feels like as a Corrie watcher to have a new character meet all of your favourite people and see all the things. It's like you're like watching somebody show off everything. Like, this is my Corrie collection, Ben and Maggie. Here's David. He's an idiot. Here's Adam. He's barely in it, but you get to see him today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like you're kind of showing off to somebody new.
Yeah, I wonder who Ben is going to end up being friends with, because it could well be David, couldn't it?
Well, he also spoke with Kevin.
Yes, yeah, because he joined Kevin on the anti-Carl bandwagon on Wednesday's episode.
I mean, we haven't even said about. Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah, that's for the other story. That's what's coming next. But he needs to make some proper links and proper mates, but there's plenty of time for that. I mean, he could end up being friends with Dev as a fellow business owner. He's of an age where he could be friends with Nick.
There are many men his age.
Maybe not quite enough.
No, they're all just married or going out with people.
Okay.
There's no single guys his age, really, is there?
But yeah, so that's still to develop, and the same with Maggie as well. I think everybody is saying, when's this scene between Maggie and Evelyn going to happen? Because that's sure there are so many, I would say, clear opportunities for excellence with this, and it's a bit of an open goal. This is a new era for the Rovers. It's so easy to, I can't talk, I don't know how it works behind the scenes. It feels like it's so easy not to screw this up, to have this as a fresh start, to have this as we will make the Rovers the hub of the show again. We will put these characters together. We will make this a battle axe icon for the ages of Coronation Street. And I hope they do. But as far, I've not looked at any previews for next week. Could well be that the Driscolls aren't in it. And that's it for 3 weeks, and that was their introduction. But I seriously hope not. They need to make this family the centre of the show. And really, when we look at 2026's episode counts, Eva and Ben at minimum need to be in the top 10, and I think they will. Don't you?
Yeah.
I can't say for Maggie. I'd love to think that she's going to, but I just get this feeling that she's going to be a character that we're left wanting more of. But seriously, Eva and Ben need to be the centre of the show now. It's up there, Corrie. It's there, ready to. And you said earlier about, is this going to be related to the crossover? Didn't you in your head? That would make a lot of sense
because of crime. We know that there's a story in Emmerdale that a lot of people are saying is going to be part of the crossover, and I don't know where they've got this from.
No, well, Richard posted about this on a Facebook group, didn't he? He's saying that there's some.
I'm not saying I don't know where they've got this from, like it's not true. I'm just saying I don't know why people think this is part of the crossover, because I don't think anything's been said.
You've got your John Sugden Murderer on the Run, haven't you? Which has already been crossovered in poster form in Coronation Street.
Yes, that's true.
But apparently in Emmerdale there's some haulage company in Hull that gets mentioned about, and Richard posited.
And it's part of the drug dealing story.
Yeah. So are the Driscolls related to the drug-related thing in Emmerdale? Is that going to be a big reveal? Anything revolving drug smuggling. Again, like gangs, it doesn't excite me whatsoever.
It's really boring.
Yes, maybe there is some sort of link there.
I'm going to be so disappointed if the whole crossover revolves around the dullest possible.
I know.
story that we ever have.
Like I said, the Rovers landlord and landlady do need to be characters that we can love and trust, and that are solid, upstanding members of the community.
They do, yeah.
In Coronation Street,
that's how it works.
But I don't know, as I say, in EastEnders, you had Mick Carter, who was in charge of the Queen Vic for a bit, wasn't he? And now you got, what's her face, Harriet Thorpe, and I think she's from a dodgy family. But it just doesn't seem to work for Corrie, for me.
No. It's like EastEnders do Sad Christmas, and Corrie doesn't. Corrie does Fun Christmas. They did Sad Christmas once, and never again.
Anyway, we will see. I think probably, nearly 2 hours or over 2 hours into the main podcast now, we probably get on to the second story of the week, which does involve Ben a fair bit, because this is what old Carl's been getting up to this week. Do you want to?
Yes. So on Thursday, obviously, Kevin has fallen out with Carl, Abby, and Debbie over the whole affair thing, and he's still being rude to him. Dee Dee tells Ollie that the police are dropping his case. Well, she tells him he's not responsible for what happened to his car, because it was up in the air.
Don't worry about this anymore. It's fine. I know you've had a few scenes about it, but it's okay now.
Ben is like, "What do you mean? A crash that was caused by a dodgy MOT?" And Kevin's like, "Oh, dodgy MOT? Carl, he's my brother. He was probably involved in that." And so immediately,
Ben kind of takes against Carl, doesn't he? Thinking that he's something to do with a potential accident waiting to happen.
Ollie's like, no, it's nothing to do with him, because it wasn't anywhere near this. And
but I mean, it still could have been, couldn't it?
Yeah,
because Fiona's...
it's the same. She's involved in it all. So Carl's like, yeah, it wasn't. Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about, but Ben is not at all appeased by this. Then Carl has got a missed call from Fiona, and he can't get back hold of her later. And when he does,
he's in the doghouse.
He's in the doghouse. Ben asks Nick if he knows anything about Carl, because he wants to ask him about this MOT thing. And he's like, look, ask Kevin, who he describes as always angry, runs the garage, which is the 5 words that Kevin Webster lives by.
What more do you need to know?
So Carl argues.
He's over with Kevin, isn't he? He carries on the argument out on the street, and is then
they end up in the garage, and Carl's winding him up.
This was really harsh. He was talking about Bill, wasn't he? And their dad, and how Bill used to say, "Oh, Kevin, he's a waste of space. You don't want to end up like him." He was saying, "Oh, Bill used to use you as a cautionary tale."
So Kevin just hits him with a wrench.
Do you think? Can you see Bill doing that, or was Carl making it up?
I think Carl made this up.
I would hope so.
If you're Bill, I think you think of Kevin as being a very successful child, because Bill was a practical man, and Kevin ran his own garage. I can't think of anything that would make me prouder if I was Bill.
I can maybe imagine Bill saying it as a bit of a joke, especially when he was going through the affair, the divorce with Sally, and going, "Oh, you don't want to end up like him."
Well,
but I can't believe that Bill... We saw so much of Bill and Kevin together on the screen, and I didn't get that impression whatsoever.
Kevin doesn't like it. It hits him over the head with a wrench. I did not know this was going to happen.
Sadly, I did, because I saw the YouTube thumbnail, which was Carl bloodied from the head. And then when I saw that Ben was none too pleased to hear that Carl had possibly had something to do with Ollie's car, I was thinking, are they going to have Ben attack Carl? So I was watching some of that episode thinking, oh great, we're going to have this new guy who seems like, quite a good one. He's good to Eva. He's going to be the new landlord, and immediately we'll have him attacking people on the street. And I know that Carl is a villain and he needs a good hiding, but we don't need at this stage Ben showing that he's willing to beat people up. So I'm glad it did turn out to be Kevin, which I think is perfectly understandable after everything that's been through, quite frankly.
Well, later on, Ollie thinks that it was Ben who did it.
Yeah.
So he's obviously had done it before, and I think Maggie says something similar.
Maggie says later in the episode, if this was however many years ago, Carl would be picking up his teeth off the cobbles at this point. So Ben clearly does have a bit of a dark past, but I think it would have been a really bad move for Corrie to have said, "Hey everybody, here's your new landlord and landlady of the Rovers. Here's the landlord. almost putting someone in hospital. That would not have been a good look for this supposed new era, Coronation Street, Rovers, heart of it, etc., etc.
So
but he's got a good sturdy head on him, hasn't he?
I thought when Carl went down, I was like, he's killed him. Because, I mean, it didn't take much for old...
Tommy Harris.
And
he was hit by a little
good
girl.
girl.
Yeah.
Come on, Kevin.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's a weakling. He's obviously... His skull's made of the same stuff as Pat Phelan's.
Yeah. Carl's got blood everywhere. And Kevin's like, go on, get out of there. Or I was going to hit you again. And Ben comes over and tells him to calm down. So Carl stumbles out.
This is... I think that they should have probably had a scene with Ben and Kevin having... Because Kevin invites him in for a whiskey, doesn't he, in the office, and they probably could have done with showing that so that they could have had a bit more character development for Ben.
There's only so many minutes in an episode. It's going to get worse next year. So Ben tells Ollie when he's accused of hitting Carl that what actually happened, and Ollie's like, what? Why would Kevin do that to his own brother? He said, anyway, Dad, you don't need to fight my battles for me. And Ben says, look, it's time for a fresh start. I know I've not been the greatest dad in the world, but, here I am now. So there's a clue there.
What?
I've not been the greatest dad. So that maybe that is why Ollie wasn't around Susie.
Yeah,
maybe. They have been estranged. But
maybe. What
happened between then and Ollie moving here and being a scout?
I'm sure we'll find out.
Or not. Ben squares up to Carl on the street later and pushes him against the wall and says, stay away from my family or you need more than a couple of stitches.
Yeah, this again, I'm glad that it didn't go any further than this, but I could have done without this little scene here.
Well, yeah, like you said, Maggie makes reference to Ben's violent past, but then she says, but I don't think there's anything wrong with showing people who's boss.
No, and that kind of gives me the impression of her being a bit of a Sharon Gaskell gang mob
it's funny
boss
because
sort of woman. It's like, no, I don't need that.
On Friday, she keeps giving everyone shots, and then when Eva says stop doing that, they're supposed to be buying it. She says something like, oh, but these are my friends.
Yeah.
But they're not her friends, and she knows that. So does she not really have any friends?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, no, I'm making friends now.
Yeah, I think...
Is she the sort of person who's got very shallow relationships because she's had to? Because of having to move around so much, maybe.
Escaping the law. I really hope not. I really hope not. Because I was feeling a little bit down on the Driscolls after Wednesdays, but Fridays brought me right back because that angle didn't get explored at all, and I was perfectly happy with them just having a lovely jolly old knees up on Friday's Halloween. But
no,
they're not going to be able to run away from it forever. We will find out something about their past.
On Friday's Halloween party, Ben kicks Carl out of the pub, and James sees that. Meanwhile, Debbie's trying to talk to Kevin at the party too, but he won't talk to her, and Glenda sort of puts him in his place and says, don't speak to her like that, she doesn't deserve it. James finds Carl outside the Rovers, moping around in the garden.
Yeah,
and
in the smoking area.
They're getting very close when Debbie walks in and sees this, and Carl tries to cover his tracks and say, no, we were having a push-up competition.
Yeah, Debbie doesn't
That's
believe
the worst
any of this.
euphemism I've ever heard. And she says, look, I don't care, come to work later, no excuses.
So this was interesting because Debbie at the hotel speaks openly about Carl having been in relationships in its loosest sense with men before.
Yeah, she's not surprised.
No, we'd been wondering.
By that element.
Yeah, we'd been wondering, is this a kind of a secret side to Carl, but clearly not. And Debbie's not bothered by it.
He's obviously not trying to hide this because he's hiding his sexuality from his family. He's hiding the fact he's having a relationship with James at the same time as Abby.
Whether Kevin knows, that's another matter.
That is it. Maybe he's a bit like Ed when James came out and he was the only one who didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carl walks in a bit late. Raphael gives him a dressing gown, which was fantastic to see him today. And Debbie's talking to him about it, going, look, what's going on between you two? And then Carl immediately starts telling her that she's losing her marbles and it's part of the dementia, and that he's not with James and she's making it up. He's with Abby. Why would he want to cop up with someone else? And Debbie's like, what? Hang on. Oh, and she believes him. What an arsehole.
Yeah, but it's
I know he's
not
done it
a
before.
surprise. He's done this.
I know. I knew this is where this was going, but it's really sad that this is where this is going.
Yeah, we've not seen any more of him trying to hack into a computer or anything this week, have
No.
we? But I'm wondering whether this is just another way. I can't get in there by hacking, so maybe I have to get her trust a little bit more. And I'm wondering whether he's going to get into a position where she's bequeathing him the hotel, and says, "Look, I can't run this anymore. You be the boss." That wouldn't surprise me.
No.
And then he gets all the passwords and he can take all the money he wants for these very, very patient German loan sharks that are apparently baying for his blood over there.
Well, Hans, he said he would give us some money, so meanwhile we'll have to just get our cash by taking these bottles back to the supermarket.
We conveyed. It's fine.
It is 5 cents a bottle. It's not
Sister has
easy
dementia.
money, but it is good for the environment.
Yeah, so...
Anyway,
I thought that it was a shame that Debbie believed him straight away. I mean, I know we've seen her questioning herself.
She completely trusts him.
Yeah. But she shouldn't, because after this whole affair thing that she knows about, she knows that he's a dodgy git.
All right.
But
I know what you're saying.
I think
she trusts him.
But she has been worried about her own state of mind a little bit, and this is kind of confirming her
it's not
darkest fears, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not like it's an unexpected thing, like he told her there was just a flamingo in the foyer, is it? It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So Kevin comes to the hotel to make up with Debbie, but as soon as he sees Carla, he scarpers, and then Carl goes, oh no, Debbie's really losing it. She's making stuff up. We need to have a truce so we can look after her. What a scumbag.
I liked how they had both of the brothers going to speak to Debbie in that scene, because it shows, who's the goodie and who's the baddie, doesn't it? Because you got Kev there going to offer an olive branch after being horrible to her, whereas his brother was there just making things even worse and taking advantage. Yeah, he's in for a rude awakening at some point, Carl, and a great fall, I hope.
Yeah, from a great height.
That was a fairly short story. Do you want to take charge of the Swala stuff today? Swalloween. Yeah, this was great.
If you celebrate.
Wasn't it? I know that there will be.
I know some people don't celebrate Swalloween for religious reasons, but that's your business.
Obviously, this will have caused much drama online, won't it? And even
I know I haven't looked on Twitter.
No, I haven't either. But this picture of them in the bathroom together, the Rovers bathroom, you said that was online last week, was already got a lot of worried tongues waggling.
Yes.
Yes,
people are already talking about this scene and saying they were going to kiss each other.
I didn't know that there was going to be a kiss happening. I knew that something was going to happen in Halloween, but I didn't know what.
I've been seeing this photo for weeks.
I love it. I think it's really, really exciting, and partly it's because I am 100% solidly certain that Lisa and Carla will make it through this. So I'm loving the chaotic roller coaster ride that is going through on the way, and it still very much makes sense to me that Becky would be doing this, whether she's devious or not. Clearly she is, but I totally buy that she wants Lisa back, and the kiss and trying to get her away from Carla is the sort of thing that lots of people would do. But I don't know how many times I need to say this.
I don't know how you would play this differently if you're Becky.
What do you mean? Oh, how else she could do it?
I think that there are many ways you could do it in real life that would make more sense, but in a soap, this is pretty logical, really.
It really, really was. I love it. I absolutely love Becky's sneaky behaviour today. It was great. It was I'm enjoying watching a baddie at work here. Whilst at the same time thinking she's just acting fairly naturally for somebody who wants her family back.
Yeah.
Carla's the villain here. Carla's her nemesis. She doesn't know that she's a beloved institution of Coronation Street. She wants
doesn't
Lisa
even know
back.
she's on television.
No, she's just trying to give her a kiss.
Right, let me tell everybody what happened if you didn't already know. This might be surprising to you. Lisa tells Roy that Carla's coming home on Thursday.
Yes.
And Ryan's staying a bit longer because...
What's going on there? What is happening? This is just like... Ryan Prescott went years barely appearing in the programme, and then he was all everywhere in the wake of the acid attack.
Do you know what I want to say?
And now he's just back to how he used to be.
And this might even... I think this is actually my conspiracy theory that I believe in the most of all time.
Go on.
That they couldn't have Ryan Prescott come back because the makeup department didn't have enough time to do his scars because of everybody else having Halloween stuff.
I think that is very likely to have happened.
Yeah.
There can be no other explanation than that.
I mean, they already had to recruit JD Prenger to do a little cobweb on Kevin's head in the show because they were so overworked. Anyway.
What is like Ryan? I can't even remember what his job is. Does he work at the hotel?
Yes, he does. He's supposed to be Debbie's right-hand man.
Is Debbie okay with the fact that he's been over in Ireland for the past fortnight and he's got no signs of coming home? I don't know.
Well, this is how Carl's got his claws into Debbie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in Brian's absence.
Ryan's absence. So.
Oh, yes, it was Brian. But Brian. But that reminded me, that scene on Monday's episode where Brian wakes up with a coaster on his cheek. Classic stuff. Loved it. Anyway, sorry.
Lisa tells Roy that Carla's coming back today. Has anything happened? Have you got any more concerns about Becky? And she's like, no.
No, yeah. Because of that obviously lovely scene that they had together last week, he wants to check that her and Carla are still solid. But clearly, she's got some lingering feelings there, hasn't she? Which is,
her dead wife's come back from the grave. You're going to. Carla comes back to the pub, checks in with Eva. Love you guys. See you later. Going back to my new wife, by the way, I think you already knew that this has happened because you're not surprised when I say my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Eva, she didn't even bat an eyelid when...
I'm cool with that, babe. Sean's my best friend. I don't mind at all. I don't know why she went London. Carla goes back home.
She does the
classic. She surprises Lisa.
When has anyone ever been abroad on Coronation Street and not come home earlier than expected? It's a bit cliche now, to be honest, but... I
know, and given the state of the transport in this country, really it would make more sense if everyone was a day late because the trains were cancelled. So Lisa's like, oh yeah, love you, great to see you back. Becky has been hanging around, but she's going, I promise. So Becky and Betsy come back together, and Becky and Carla are like, but Carla's like, sorry, we don't have enough food, you got to go, have a gorgeous evening alone in your flat. And Becky's like, well, I slept pretty well on the sofa in here, it's very comfortable, bye bitch. And Carla's like, oh, slept on the sofa. And so she goes and speaks to Lisa. It's like, oh no, it wasn't a big deal. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Carla's knocked about this.
Very, very understandably.
Yes.
Anybody in this situation, I can't remember. Was it
your ex is on the sofa?
Yeah. It was today, wasn't it? Where Carla said, if Peter came round and I had him sleeping on the sofa while you were away, what would you think? And it's 100% true. As much as I can understand that Lisa has got some feelings there. Out of respect for Carla, she should not have had Becky staying over last week.
She was in a vulnerable moment.
I know she was, but come on.
Caught off
I really
guard.
don't think that she's got that much of a leg to stand on here.
Well, so Carla goes to see Roy in the cafe, tells him about this row with Lisa and asks him, I told you to keep an eye on everything. Did you notice anything? And he's like, well, they have been spending quite a lot of time together. And I spoke to Lisa about it, and she said it was complicated, and she has some feelings for Becky, but she's definitely committed to you. And so Carla's like, this is not great, goes back home, finds Lisa and Betsy on the sofa watching a film together. Betsy goes away so Lisa and Carla can talk. And Carla says, I really missed you. I just want to draw a line under this. I do trust you. And Lisa says, you've got nothing to worry about today.
I wonder whether any blame can be put onto Carla as well for going. And I know they said they had a funeral there or a memorial or whatever it was that they were going across to, but surely she didn't need to stay away for all this time when this was clearly something was going on fairly major back at home. So she's left the goal wide open here, hasn't she, for Becky to score. I
really think that also Lisa might have been able to take some time off work. I don't know what her shifts were like. I know it's difficult.
Although, I mean, who would she be asking? Would she be asking Costello? And she's not exactly in his good books at the moment, is she?
He's not in her good books. So you hid the fact that my wife was dead. Can I please go to Ireland for a week? Yes, I can. See you later, boss, is what she should have said. So anyway, Lisa decides the best way to extend an olive branch to Carla is with matching, not scary, Halloween costumes. As a sexy, she's going to be a sexy robber and Carla's going to be a sexy police officer.
They did look good in those outfits, I have to say.
And Carla's like, no, I'm not really super into it, really. Why do you get to wear a nice outfit and I've got to wear this? And then
Carla is not a fancy dress sort of person. But then I wouldn't say Lisa was particularly.
I also think that this seems like the sort of thing you'll get in trouble with if you work for the police at quite a high level and then somebody finds out you dress as a robber. Like,
it's a little bit Prince Harry at that party that one time,
we won't bring
isn't it?
that up, but he has never lived that down.
No. But yeah, I wonder whether any of this came from, the catwalk scene last week, because Lisa was like, I don't want to dress up in your clothes and parade around. And then when she saw that Becky was doing it, she kind of had to step up so that she could also be the fun mum. And is this Lisa? Is this her being the fun mum and doing it for Betsy's sake? I
think
wonder.
It's also like going, look, we're united. We've got matching outfits.
Yeah.
So, Carl's not really into it. And then Becky comes around and Betsy comes down and she's wearing a little devil's outfit with little devil wings and stuff. And she says, we're going to a party later, a Halloween party. And Becky's like,
yeah, Becky
together.
Was it tonight's episode where Becky walks in yet again and I think Carla says, oh, fancy seeing you, or
welcome to my house.
Welcome to our house again.
Yeah.
Like, there's lots of passive aggressive,
yes.
very understandable and from Carla.
Sniping.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Becky didn't at any point say, I've come as myself, I'm a ghost. That would have been quite funny.
She did make a comment about being a zombie at some point in the episode.
She said she also compared herself to Jesus, which was brilliant.
Oh yeah, he still got around, didn't he?
He came back from the dead and he still got around.
Oh my gosh.
All right, he didn't live in Spain though, did he? Anyway, so they're at the pub later and Lisa gets a phone call from work.
I don't think that turns into anything. It's just an opportunity for...
Carla gets to see the fashion show thing with Becky and Lisa prancing around in these outfits. And so she goes around to see Roy and demands to know whether she's fun. And Roy's like, well, you're very career-focused and hard-working. She's like, well, I don't want to be career-focused. I want to be fun like Becky. And go, on the run and pretend to be dead for a year or whatever, 4 years. Then we get to see Becky turn up. I think it's only Betsy and Lisa at the Rovers. I think they're waiting for Carla, and Carla's busy finding out whether she's fun or not from the oracle and arbiter of all things fun, which is clearly Roy Cropper.
Yes.
Becky turns up.
Becky's found out, because we...
Yeah, she finds out, I told you, she finds out they're going to this party.
Because she's got a bedroom set, hasn't she?
Becky's got a bed... Swala fans must be livid at the fact that Becky got a bedroom set before Lisa and Carla.
Yes.
Is this a warning sign?
There was no need for there to be a bedroom set. Becky could have been anywhere.
She could have been in her. She could have been in a set that already exists, like the bistro, and or she could have been in the kitchen of her flat.
Could have been in the Flying Horse.
But she's got her bedroom set.
But what? Why?
Warning. Because there's going to be.
I'd be really surprised.
Scene?
I'd be really, really surprised if Lisa ends up
in bed with her. Me too.
Like the kiss that happened today. That's not. That's
Unless Carla and Lisa are going to split up, and Lisa moves back in with Becky.
I think that's maybe pushing it a bit far. A little kiss, Becky going in to like trying her luck. Yeah, that's going to happen. But and Lisa, when that kiss happened, immediately pushed her away.
We haven't got there yet. So Becky turns up as a little devil at the Rovers, and then she makes them play their first dance song over the jukebox in the Rovers, and she's like, do you recognise this? And then Betsy reads out a poem that they had as part of their ceremony. Lisa can't cope with this and she runs off. So Becky follows her and she ends up in the loo. And she says, I'm not trying to trick you. I just can't help thinking about how happy we were. Like, it feels like a dream. Like, it wasn't a dream. It was real. We were together for so long. We got married. We have got a kid.
She's built up this kind of fantasy version of Lisa in her mind over the past 4 years.
Well, maybe.
And whether or not she's in love with Lisa as she is now, or whether it's just this fantasy version of her, I don't know.
Well, she goes in and she kisses her, and we get to see a very long kiss.
It was good that they had a zoom in focus on that, because I wanted to see is what's Lisa's reaction, and she is very closed mouthed during it, wasn't
grimacing. She? But as usual, because it's a soap and it was a cliffhanger, the kiss went on a lot longer than it would have done in real life, because Lisa...
Well, they had to use it as the ad bumper, didn't they?
Lisa let Becky kiss her, and it felt like for a good few seconds, but I think in reality, you're supposed to believe she immediately pushed her off.
But Lisa actually slightly enjoying it for a few seconds before she pushed her away and realised she didn't look like she was doing it. I think she was maybe kind of caught off guard a little bit, and it took a few seconds for her brain to catch up and go, I cannot do this. Because even she let Becky cradle her face last week.
In the context of a soap, this was Lisa resisting in the most subtle of ways. You have to just put this in the context of what a soap is like. I don't recall a character ever looking quite as unenthused about a kiss. Normally they'll kiss back and then they'll be like, no!
Yeah, no, we can't. You're right. That I was wondering whether it was going to go down that route.
But she absolutely gave her nothing. She was just like, this is horrible. I wish this wasn't happening. Yeah. And honestly, I wouldn't genuinely blame her if she didn't go, I'll just have a little kiss now.
Was it I don't want this to happen, or this can't happen? Because there was definitely a difference there.
Maybe it's like, I can't let this anyway.
Clearly, and Lisa said it herself, there are some lingering feelings there. She isn't repulsed by Becky.
It's really important to point out, as it is with any widow, that she didn't choose to end the relationship. It ended because of a tragedy. Maybe Becky had more to do with this than normally somebody who dies does. But she's a widow, and so she's not split up with Becky.
No.
It kind of feel like she needs to, though. You know what I mean? Like, she hasn't actually officially split up with Becky at all. She's been rude to her. She's told her to leave. She told her she's not welcome. But she hasn't, said, I denounce you or anything.
Well, they still haven't properly looked into, are they legally married?
There's a lot of confusion about
how long's Becky been back? Month? 2 months?
Yeah.
That would be one of the first things that you'd find out.
Because
you've got enough lawyers living on the street.
Becky's supposedly not back from the dead.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. If they can't go sniffing around too much, because
despite having a flat, despite walking around without a mask on 90% of the time, despite going to work and talking to, well, she hasn't gone to work. She's gone and had meetings with her boss.
In the ginnel.
All of that, she's still supposed to be on the run.
Yeah.
It's just getting, like I said last week, feels like a dream where it makes sense when you're watching it, but when you stop and think and you wake up, you're like, this is stupid.
Look, all Lisa needed to do was to go over to Adam and go, look, Adam, hypothetical situation for you here. What if? And then maybe she could have found out then. But it's probably one of these things in real life there isn't a law for, because it's so ridiculous and only happens in soap.
The answer is they're still married. Sorry, that's the answer. They are still married. If she's not actually dead, they're still married. Because she didn't die.
No.
I don't see why that people are so confused about this.
Oh, it's great. It's so juicy. What else happens? Carla, she finds out about this later, doesn't she?
Lisa pushes Becky away.
Oh, yeah.
Becky says, I still love you. And Lisa says, I don't love you, I love Carla. Betsy walks in and what the heck's going on?
She doesn't know what's happened, does she? Because she's confused later when Lisa bogs off back home.
So Lisa goes immediately home and tells Carla what's happened. And Carla's like, what?
You what?
Are you joking? What are you talking about? And she's like, I knew something was going on. I can't compete with someone who comes back from the grave, can I? And
this was real old school Carla here, wasn't it? She found her fire again tonight.
The Carla spirit has been reignited.
Yeah, when she burst into the Rovers.
She wasn't being all gentle and understanding like she's been before. She's like, no, what do you mean? And Lisa says, oh, it's just a moment of madness. I wasn't trying to hide it from you. I've told you now. Carla's livid, and so she immediately goes to the Rovers to confront Becky, storms in and shoves her, which I thought was great. And she's like, if you ever kiss her again, I'll kill you, and this time you'll stay dead. And everybody in the Rovers who's like, I thought that was her aunt.
Yeah.
Is confused.
This is properly out in the open now, isn't it? Is this leading towards a murder mystery? Because that's the sort of thing that you say if in a few weeks' time you're going to be suspect number one on a soap murder mystery.
Isn't this sort of like what happened
Whodunit?
to her when she was accused of killing Tina? Or she was a suspect.
Well, and Frank Foster. Who was it? I think it was Kevin who said, I'm going to kill you, Frank, and then he turns up dead. So I think that Becky is still going to be alive and kicking for a little while longer. I certainly hope so.
Now, they all go back to number 6, and we didn't get to see them bickering as they walk down the street, but I think that would have been quite hilarious. Yeah. Carla, lunges like she's going to throttle Becky, and Lisa has to, separate them. Betsy's there too. Carla yells at Lisa to get Becky to leave, and she's like, yeah, kick her out. What's she doing in here?
I don't even know why Becky went back to number 6, quite frankly.
Why is she following them?
Why did Carla let her in?
Why did Lisa let her in?
Yeah.
So Carla storms off upstairs, and then Lisa tells Becky off, and Becky says, "Why?" She kind of going, oh, "Lisa, why did you tell Carla? She's just getting annoyed. Why did you kind of tell her about the kiss?" And Lisa's like, "Well, yes, I did have to tell her because unlike you, I'm not a liar." And she kicks her out.
Was that a bit of self-sabotage? Could she have? I think she had to. If she hadn't told Carla, that would have been some perfect ammunition for Becky, because Becky's been saying all these other dropping things into Carla, hasn't she, about their wedding?
Oh, I slept
she
on
would
the
have
sofa.
absolutely loved to say, well, I did kiss her last week, so Lisa really didn't
Lisa
have much
was
of a
right
choice
to do
here.
this. I think Betsy gets in a mood too and wants to go and stay with her mum.
Yeah.
Carla and Lisa get left alone in the lounge, and Carla's like, "Why didn't you just brain her? Why'd you push her away? You should have attacked her or something." And Lisa's like, "No, hang on. This was Betsy's mum, we've got a history. I was married to her." And then Carla says, "If I wasn't here, would you be back with her?" And Lisa doesn't answer.
What do you think about that hypothetical situation? It
I
feels
think
like
it's
a
right.
100%
She
yes.
would have been back together with her.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt.
I mean, there's not been anybody romantically in Lisa's life since Becky, apart from Carla, so she probably would have been spending all this time kind of pining after her and mourning and
Yes.
and
He's
all
not.
that.
She's not her ex. I think people need to keep remembering.
Although Lisa does refer to her as her ex, I
But
think,
she's
in
not
today's
her ex.
episode.
She's her late wife.
Yeah. I think that she would 100% be back, like most people would. And I know that you can say, well, look, Becky was awful in that she went over to Spain. She didn't try and get in contact. She broke up this relationship. I think that she could have very easily smoothed it over and said, look, I had to. I was on the run. All that's important is that I'm back together now. I think Lisa would have fallen for that.
Yes.
And fallen for her all over again.
Then they get this very sweet scene where when Carla gets this non-answer from Lisa, she's so frustrated, but she kisses her on the head and says, "I've got to go, I have to clear my head." And she runs straight over to Royce to talk, first of all, about his pyjamas, but then about what's happened.
That was a nice little bit of dialogue, wasn't it?
I did like that.
Bought
She's
myself
like,
a
"I don't
new
really
pair
care."
after. Yeah.
She's terrified. She's like, they're going to get back together. It's only a matter of time. And Roy thinks she's a bit defeatist. But then Carla says, no, if Becky wants a fight, she's come to the right place.
Brilliant. This is just what we want from Carla. I mean, yeah, how much would you if you were one of Carla's mates at the moment, not that she's got that many, how much would you say Lisa's not worth fighting for? This is clearly very messy. You need to back off.
You need to fight as much as you can. Don't give
the
up.
way that Lisa and Carla have been paired together, the ultimate curry couple of 2025, there was no way that was going to happen. But I think that some people would, at this stage, go, you know what, I'm checking out of this. Come back when you've decided.
Oh, yeah, that's the point. That's
fair play to Carla for finding that fire again and fighting for our woman. It was great stuff. I loved it. This is very exciting developments, and the Halloween backdrop made it all the more tantalising.
Yes, at this point, Carla has put her costume on, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Sexy cop.
I'm just really, really looking forward to finding out what happens next. It's a little bit, they're going around in circles with it, with Becky doing seeing how far she can push it. But I suppose with Carla back in the fray again now, what's she going to do to... Clearly, after this, they can't just have Becky wandering into the house again. surely they've got to set some boundaries here. And if Lisa is allowing her to walk all over her again, so that's a little bit on her. And I know you got to think about Betsy because she's completely blind to her mother's manipulations here, but I think Betsy needs to know what happened, and Lisa needs to put her foot down.
I think that you didn't write down what she exactly said, but I think Carla said something like, "This is my house, this is my family, get out."
Yes.
And she was really laying down the law, like, look, I've been nice to you, I've been playing this stupid game, but this is not who I am. I'm Carla Connor. Get out of my house and leave my girlfriend alone.
She needs to stay at this level of ferocity now.
Because she
can't back down.
Was not enabled, but like just
just
let it all happen. And now she's like, no, this is not happening anymore. This is the end of this nonsense. I don't know why I let this happen in the first place. Get out, you trollop.
I think
you dead trollop.
I wonder what Becky's next tactic is going to be, because she must know I can't kind of go under the radar. I can't.
Is she going to be more overt with her?
She's kind of got to be at this
now.
point, hasn't she? Because she's made it clear what she wants out of this. There's no going back and saying, "Oh, I just want to be friends." Misunderstanding, exactly. She needs to step it up a notch, as does Carla. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this escalation is. And we've been saying that this story could well go on into January time, but the rate in which it is raising at the moment. I don't know whether it can sustain itself until that time before it goes utterly over the top and explodes.
I am so suspicious of Becky's bedroom set. I'm sorry, but that sends alarm bells.
It really does. It really, really does. But come on, Lisa.
Anyone who doubts this, just tell me, how many bedrooms have you seen in the last year?
Yeah, well, Carl's. We all know what goes on there.
This is only room, isn't it?
Yeah, bedroom is not just for sleeping. Well, it's not really for sleeping at all on Coronation Street, is it?
No, unless you're snoring.
Right, so we can whiz through some of the other storylines. It's fine that we took long enough on the Rovers story, but we did get a little bit more of the Hope story this week, and this was one of the downsides for me. I'm not particularly fussed about Hope's messages. And we find out on Monday that, well, she suspects it's Jake, doesn't she? So last week she thought that Jake was kind of all over and fancying her, and
he's like,
from afar,
oh no, she's up herself.
Yeah.
And also, an added complication to this is that Ruby seems to fancy Jake, and Jake is totally ignoring her. Yeah,
which is why it seems at this point that it's most likely to be Ruby that's doing this, although from what phone, I don't know. Because Ruby's been very, very quiet. She's been present, been very quiet through it.
What happens is, Hope is in the salon, gets a message on her phone. She looks in the mirror, Jake's behind her, catches her eye and smirks, and she then decides that it's him that sent the message.
But Ruby is also sitting there on her phone.
But equally, the great thing about mobile phones, and if you don't notice already, this is going to blow your mind and probably open new opportunities for you. You don't have to be in the same room as somebody to text them.
But I think it was probably just there as a clue, so we could say, we've seen it all along.
I think it is Jake.
But do you still think Jake?
Because he was being an incelly about her last week. And trying to get her attention, and she told him to get lost.
But it is unusual that Ruby hasn't been questioned about it, and she's literally had nothing to say about it. But I would find it peculiar how, this has obviously come from a number that is not stored on Hope's phone. So has Ruby got a new number here? Has Ruby got a burner phone?
She's like, sorry, I was going to do drugs, but I decided to do something else, more constructive. I think
Hope should know all about burner phones, a little arsonist.
I'm starting to now doubt it's Jake, but before everybody was saying, before they started all this, it is Jake. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm second guessing.
Well, yeah, because that all happens on Wednesday, and then Cassie
on Monday.
Monday it is, isn't it? Yeah, and Gary and Jake talk to Fizz and say this didn't happen. It wasn't Jake, and Jake does a fairly good job of saying, well, yeah, my mum's been trolled. Both and Maria's been trolled as well. I've seen the effects that this could have on people. I wouldn't do it. Unfortunately, we don't really know enough about Jake to know whether he's being genuine. Then.
What did he do? No, don't forget.
A couple of weeks ago, he was doing that dodgy business with Carl, wasn't he?
No, Jake was blackmailing
Yeah, he blackmailed.
about the car.
Yeah, he blackmailed
Betsy
Carla. It was when Carla run into.
No, wasn't he blackmailing Lauren and Betsy about stealing the car? And...
Oh, yes.
He's been up
yes,
to
it was
no
that.
good recently.
And yeah, but we still don't really know enough about him as a character. But
he's a cheeky little oik.
I kind of hope that it isn't him now, because they did enough work this week saying, well, of course it's not him. It couldn't be him.
But if it isn't him, he's still not off the hook for being a little budding incel.
No, and maybe this is what's going to be next for him, because it feels like at long last they want to do something with Jake, and is this going to be his first proper story? Especially now the sister of the actor is going to be mainish part in it. It wouldn't surprise me if Mrs. Bradshaw is there saying, right, Coronation Street, got 2 children in this programme now, I want them to have some proper stories together. So
yeah, that's how it works.
Could this be it? I don't know. Anyway, so Hope sees Jake in the cafe on Thursday, and smashes his phone accidentally by grabbing it off of him, because she's still convinced it is him sending the messages.
Well, she's not sorry she's done it.
Yeah, no, she's not.
It's an accident, but she's like kind of glad.
Yeah, so that then calls for Izzy and Gary later to go and visit Tyrone to say, look, you need to watch out with your daughter, because she's really laying into Jake and it's not fair. He's not done any of this, and this is obviously news to Tyrone, because Fizz has been keeping him in the dark about it, because he's already going through so much, what with his being bound to a wheelchair. So Fizz... I'm
not saying a word about this.
Why?
It's all parents and children denying this and that and having actually clearly done something. Is it not hitting home?
No. Nah, not at all. Anyway, Fizz doesn't want Tyrone to find out about it, but it turns out that he has found out about it. He's fuming that he's been kept in the dark. I just thought, yeah, so what about this?
Well, it's just more, isn't it? It's more of him being feeling like life is passing him by and people are making decisions for him. When he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's already got his lack of agency.
It's like, yeah, I can decide for myself whether I want to... I don't want to know. This is my business. I'm the dad.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the story kind of comes to a conclusion on Thursday's episode, with still not completely any the wiser as to who's this sending these messages, and Tyrone's still a bit peed off. But the other action at number 9 on Friday is Cassie gets a job working behind the switch at the streetcars, because they've been struggling since Eileen's left. And
with all those drivers and cars, it's no wonder. There must be 25 of them at least.
And this brings more... I kind of half enjoy Tracy and Cassie sniping at each other, and I'm half like, we've seen this again and again and again. And the dialogue's usually quite good, but it doesn't feel like they're progressing any further or growing as characters through any of this sniping.
One thing I want to say about Tracy that I love, and Kate Ford, who plays her, does this so well, is that even when she's fighting with people, she looks utterly thrilled to be part of drama.
Yeah, that's
do you know what I mean?
True.
Like, her eyes light up when she's fighting with somebody. Or being a bitch.
Yeah, because Tracy goes to Cassie and says, oh, you're going to be working with Steve 24/7, that's going to be terrible, I bet you'll be sick of each other. And Cassie's come back as, well, actually, we can't stop necking.
Can't stop necking.
Necking. And actually, it's going to be wonderful. So I guess 1 point to Cassie by the end of that week.
Yeah.
She's
great. Just rubbing her face in it.
Cassie was trying to get jobs all over the place, because she was trying to do the...
She's trying to
get the cleaner's
Driscolls
job with the Driscolls.
She did tell them she was the cleaner, and then they were like, no, you're not. And she's like, well, I could be.
Yeah.
I do love her. God loves a trier.
I wonder we will see any of these switch scenes, because there has been a lack of streetcar action.
Does it not excite you, the prospect of Cassie on the switch with Tim and Steve? Because it really does me. Because it will be a slightly different dynamic, because before it was Eileen versus Lloyd / Tim and Steve, and she obviously was just their friend / colleague, but having Cassie dating Steve with Tim there is going to be really awkward and a different kind of...
I wonder whether Tracy's right in that Cassie will tire of him
Yeah, maybe.
Because, like...
Maybe she'll find stuff out about him that she didn't like.
Well, maybe.
Like, snaffling all the biscuits. Or maybe he'll get fed up with her.
Yeah.
Stealing all the biscuits. That's the only job-related conflict I can think of.
I'm still perfectly happy for Steve and Cassie to stay together as a couple.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, this was yet another... We only saw half of the couple thing, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
When we had...
Steve's like,
Steve's visiting Andy again, isn't he?
Not coming in.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
So I was really excited to find out this week about what was the follow-up from the whole milk incident on Friday between Todd and Theo. But Corrie didn't want to give us any more than what we saw on Monday, were they? And we'd already seen this episode, so I feel somewhat shortchanged here, because this is the other story that I'm definitely getting very much involved in and enjoying the chaos and drama. Despite it being obviously a very serious issue, I'm still gripped by it. So do you want to just have a quick rundown of Monday's action?
It was very funny watching this on the press day, because we were like, what milk incident? What car? What do you mean? What job that you need that you don't have? Because the last time we saw him, he was fine.
Yeah.
Since then, so many things have happened. So this is like this is like the calm after the storm almost, because Todd's clearly still...
He's like, I've just had a bottle of milk poured over my head. I need to talk to you about this.
It's weird because it's like he is gaslighting him, because
totally.
Todd's in... Theo burns his hand on an oven sheet and says, "Oh, Todd, have you been hiding away? Why?" And Todd's like, "What do you mean? Like, you poured milk on my head?" And Theo's like, "What?" And he laughs. He's like, "Come on,
Just
that was funny. That was a funny joke." And Todd's like...
there's so much Jeff in that behaviour there, wasn't there?
And Theo's like, "Don't milk it."
Yeah.
Like, he thinks he's... I can't really...
I think that was really clever, because as an audience, are we supposed to be joining in with laughing there?
No, of course not.
Yeah, of course we were.
What do you mean?
That joke of "don't milk it," surely the audience there are going, haha, but then also feeling bad for themselves for doing it.
No.
Because that was a clearly cruel thing to say, but it was a funny line as well. And it's one of these things where you can enjoy watching the villains, like I am enjoying. You know, it's not wrong to enjoy seeing them causing this chaos. You know that he's going to get his comeuppance, as is Becky.
Theo's got this load of jobs, handyman jobs to do at George's house, and he wants him to start straight away. And meanwhile he's doing that, Sarah and Todd are chatting, because she's kind of become his sounding board. And she says, "Look, if it's causing all this drama, this car, just sell it, because it's making you feel guilty and he doesn't have the money." So Theo comes back around and goes, after Sarah's gone, and says to Todd, "Why, I've just seen your cars for sale, what's going on?" And Todd's like trying to explain and says, "Look, we need to communicate. I've got to sell it. We need some money." And Theo says, "Oh, that's fine, because Carla's just given me a load of work to do at the factory, so we've got we've got a bit of breathing room here."
I still enjoyed how Theo was keeping Todd on his toes there, because he's using this car as a tool, as part of his manipulations. I brought you this car.
It's a gift
now
with strings attached.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is bad for a car, because you need to sort of drive it away. So it all seems fine, but then Todd finds out from Sarah that it was her who got Carla to ask Theo to do the jobs, and he's like, "You cannot ever tell Theo that it was because of you that he got this job, because he's going to go completely mad." And Sarah was kind of like, I think she was maybe a bit scruffy at this point, but she's like laughing and going, "Yeah, don't worry, I won't say it's secret, it's safe with me." She doesn't still get that Todd is actually scared of his partner.
Because the scenes, because they end up having a fairly nice time at the Rovers and amongst all the other frivolities that's going on there on Monday, don't they? But there is kind of this lingering air of Todd is slowly
scared, realising that his life gets worse when Theo is upset.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's his fault, because he'll get blamed for it anyway. And when Theo's in a mood, he likes to spread the feeling around.
I mean, would it be the end of the world for Theo if he found out that Sarah gave him the job?
Yes, of course it would be, because he'd use it. The thing is, no matter what, the reality of the situation is, it's how Theo uses it to manipulate Todd. So he always makes himself the victim. So he'll say, oh, you know, you went behind my back to your ex-girlfriend to undermine me and make it seem like I can't provide for my family. And when you know that I can, and you're just trying to make me look bad in front of everybody and undermining me and my authority.
Yeah. I hope that it's not too long before we get any more of that. It feels like this story hasn't had that much of many long periods of break, has it? So maybe next week we'll see a little bit more. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Gosh.
Bit of a yawn there.
We got up early and I've watched Curry, started recording the podcast, and I've emptied the dishwasher and I've made cupcakes.
I know,
and
it's
it's
very
like...
good. Doing a good job. We have just got one more story to go.
Is this you?
This is the Asher story, which is just a dud for me this week. And I'm really sorry. And I know that I'm supposed to be, you know, learning about mental health and everything, but compared to all the... This isn't necessarily what I'm watching a soap for.
You could be more delicate.
I know, but compared to all of the other drama that's going there with the Becky and machinations and the new family in the Rovers, and this just came across as it's misery. And I know there was some fun stuff with Gemma and Chesney setting up for the party with their poo emoji.
Hang on, it was a pride-themed poo emoji pinata. Which is a very, very niche market.
It is somewhat,
I'm glad that Corey's representing
Pin the banana on the banana as well was kind of fun. But as soon as Asher comes in, everything just gets a bit miserable, and everyone's solemnly setting up for this party that ends up never even happening because they're all... It
does happen, but we don't see it.
Yeah, because Asher's mad at Bernie and Dev's mad at Bernie. Poor old Gemma says, this isn't how we're like. We're normally really cheery and upbeat. But she obviously doesn't know her husband that well.
No,
but,
they haven't been going out that long.
Asher disappears off to Victoria Gardens, has yet more panic attack flashbacks about Naomi and all the other things that are going on. But this is when lovely Maggie Driscoll comes over and is like, hello, I hear that I need to get my claws into some of the characters here and spread my wings and get some roots in other stories. How can I help you here? So this was quite lovely, and she's just genuinely interested in hearing Asher's story, and she's being very sympathetic about it and saying, look, you've seen people die, this is terrible, but you've had people where you've probably talked them down from the pits of despair. You need to be kind to yourself and maybe do it for yourself here. And Asher realises, you know what, you're right, I need to get some medical intervention and fast. So Maggie gets her an ambulance to hospital, and I don't know whether there's just a few spare ambulances in Weatherfield, but I don't believe necessarily that this was quite the emergency that required the blues and twos.
No, I think it did.
No, it didn't. Of course it didn't. Asher, I feel so really bad for Asher's situation. But
Asher said she needed help, and it was obviously clearly serious enough for them to take her into hospital and find her a bed.
She needed a bed, of course, but I think that probably somebody could have taken her in in the car. But hey, maybe there's just no other big emergencies happening at that time.
When you are overwhelmed with thoughts like this, you do need urgent help.
I know. I don't think that she.
I think the thing is, unless you've been in that situation, you genuinely do not get how it feels.
No, I know. I'm not. I don't want to belittle her.
You can't help.
I genuinely didn't think that that's what ambulances were for.
Well, okay, now you know.
Well, if this was in America, would she have paid for it?
I don't know. I don't see what
in
the
Todd's
point
car.
of that is.
Anyway, so Maggie saves the day there a little bit, doesn't she?
I think the inclusion of Maggie in the storyline is interesting because without this scene, all we know is that she is being a cow to Eva, and we're not really sure why, other than there's this stereotype of mother-in-laws being horrible and everyone hates them.
Yeah.
And so having her in this storyline, it kind of makes her seem like a very reasonable and emotionally mature person.
Yeah.
Which is even weirder that she's so mean to Eva, which makes me again go back to my theory that there may be something in the past between Ben and Eva and
has Eva really done something to get Maggie's back up? Has she
been unfaithful to Ben in the past? Maybe.
Yeah, but the battle axe characters of the past have still had this warm side, haven't they?
But
Ivy certainly did.
Yeah.
Evelyn 100% has. She's not just a cantankerous old woman 100% of the time.
But normally this happens after we've known them as a battle axe for months and months.
Yeah.
And it's an unexpected, sweet moment that softens us and makes us feel like we like the character more. We've only known Maggie a day, and now we've got this very emotional and intense scene with a character that's having one of the worst experiences of their lives.
Yeah.
And she's the kind of...
Yeah, it was a really good idea.
I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that she saved her life there, because Asha was spiralling and clearly not in control.
Yeah,
And
she was. I mean,
it's because it's her brain and we can't see inside of it. If she had a broken leg and she was trying to walk and she couldn't, we would all get, oh yeah, because she needs help, she needs to go to the hospital. But because it's inside her head, we cannot see how important it is for her to get help.
I think
see what I'm saying?
Of course I do. I think it's totally important.
But you don't think she should have
I
had
don't
an ambulance?
think she needed an ambulance.
I know, well, you don't...
But I think that you're right, it could be right to say that Maggie saved her life to some extent, because that was the place where she tried to take her life before, wasn't it, in Victoria Gardens, and it could have been a bit of history repeating itself, so thank goodness for Ash's sake that Maggie was there. I'm kind of interested to see, so what does that mean now for Maggie and Asha? Is there going to be more of them together?
Asha said that of Maggie, she's my friend.
Yeah, she
And then
did.
Maggie smiled.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, she's a little fairy godmother sort of character, isn't she? What could, is Bernie, what's she going to think of Maggie? Is she going to be a bit kind of jealous of the fact that Maggie was able to have this conversation with Asha, which is what Bernie's wanted to be able to do? Are they going to be clashing a little bit? Because I could certainly see a clashing of horns between Bernie and Maggie being quite fun to watch.
I can see Maggie taking against Bernie and blaming her for what's happened with Asha, and Bernie having to defend herself.
Yeah, I can see her saying, "The poor girl, can't you just leave her alone?" and kind of
stuff like that.
Yeah, no, good stuff. It feels like there's been a bit of a lack of Eva this week. And amongst all of this, but maybe we didn't need that much Eva. Yes, we had the Leanne and Toya reunion scenes, but it felt like Maggie and Ben got the lion's share of the screen time out of all the Driscolls.
We had to meet them. We've met Eva.
Would you say that Eva was pretty much as you remembered her?
Definitely.
I don't, I'd have to go back and watch some 2018 Corrie to see what she was like back then, but there was certainly nothing that I got out of Eva this week where I thought, oh, she's changed or she's grown or she's matured or anything like that over the year. It really was stepping back into that Eva that we knew and loved. But I hope that they do give her a little bit more agency next week. I hope that there's a bit more that centres around her and it's not just, hey, look, here's some new characters. But hey, that was...
Hey, look, here's some new characters.
That was this week's Coronation Street, and it was a jolly good week indeed. And I'm curious to know what you're giving it as a score. So would you like to... enlighten me?
I'm going to give this 4.5
Whoa.
scented foo-foo noo-noos.
Oh, that was great. That was another good leg Glenda
There were
line.
so many things we couldn't talk about that happened this week, even though we've spoken.
Let's have a come a foo-foo noo-noo.
Yeah.
And then she has to explain to Sean what she means.
Yeah, and then
just
also...
wordlessly.
Lauren saying it was scented old lady flowers, and then Maggie giving her an evil look, and then Lauren like, oh, I don't know.
I want to know when she went out to get the toilet roll for the mummies, did she get scented toilet roll there, or was that a bit of a waste of time?
I don't know.
Was it a scented mummy?
It's an interesting question.
My
character of the week is Maggie.
Yes, I think it feels like an easy one, but as a character who comes in and makes an absolutely fantastic first impression, I think it's hard to argue against Maggie. I mean, I loved Becky this week. I thought Carla was on fire. Lisa was was fun as well. I really enjoyed
Eva and Ben.
I think that Ben is a really solid character. Eva, clearly great to have back.
Love to see Toya and Leanne and Ben. Nick, sorry.
But as a character, which one made the best impression on you? Which character? Oh my gosh, what was that?
Elsie Tanner's just thrown herself off the side table.
As a character, like after this week's episode, which character is taken up real estate in my head and just kind of revolving around there thinking weren't they great? It's got to be Maggie. I think that this week, I don't know. I'm kind of erring between a 4 and a 4.5. And I think that the inclusion of the Carl stuff, the Hope story, the Asher story does bring it down just a little bit. So I think with regret, I'm going to give this
You're
a 4.
fired.
4 iron socks out of 5. And that makes
socks.
2 pairs. And I can't believe that Nick's the sort of person that would have any odd socks, which is why we can't have that extra half here.
Nick seems to me to be the sort of person who on the 1st of January throws away every single sock he's owned for the past year and buys a pack of 30 black socks, all identical.
Yeah.
Just to ensure there's no funny business.
But yeah, superb week. Really, really enjoyed it. I mean, do I do 4.5?
I mean,
because
it's
3.5
really important consideration.
It really is, because when I give 3.5, that's when it's just a fairly good week, and it did feel a step up from that. No, I'm going to go for 4.5 as well. I'm going to throw it to the wind and say, yeah, 4.5 iron socks for Nick out of 5, and well done to Maggie. I'm really excited to hear what the listeners here have to say about this. So do make sure you flood us with feedback and comments and things. What are your first impressions of the Driscolls? Are you also calling them the O'Driscolls? Who's your favourite? Who do you think's going to stay the longest? Who's going to be the first out the door? What do you think about Ollie?
Yeah, when did you find out that Ollie was a Driscoll? Did you find out before because of Coronation Street leaking that picture, or did you find out in the episode? And when you did find out, what did you think?
Yeah, because is it that exciting? Because we've known all along.
Yeah.
Is it exciting, or is it like because bless him, Ollie's not the most vibrant of characters, is he?
So the story of our knowing about this is when we first found out, it was like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. And then the longer it went unremarked upon, the more suspicious I became and confused that maybe we'd been given the wrong information. And then eventually I realised, obviously, that he was actually. And then I was just confused about why there had been all this secrecy. And then in the episode, there's like one line when Dee Dee's like, oh, you kept that quiet. And Ollie's like, it was a secret. Ollie,
Why?
You dumb idiot. You dumb lovable fool. It was a secret to Eva. But literally, you could have told anybody else.
Ollie's just not the most engaging character,
but also,
and this doesn't make him any more engaging just by virtue of being a Driscoll.
But also he keeping it a secret from whom? Because nobody cares. Like nobody really cares that Eva was, like Dee Dee doesn't care. She doesn't know who Eva is.
No,
you could have told her. Why was it a secret from literally everybody?
Yeah. Well, will we see more Ollie now?
Ollie seems like a very literal
maybe.
person. Like, you told me not to tell anybody, so I literally would have gone to my grave never mentioning this because you told me not to.
Right, we've been waffling for far too long. I think it's time that we moved on. So that is the end of this week's Street Talk.